Chapter 581. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow was silent because this was a problem he had never thought of. He had never thought that the 8-dragon cauldron had taken a liking to him. Love, go little say, Chu, last time as long as you entered the stairway to heaven, I would have let you come up. I originally thought that you would only need a few months to get there, but you didn't come. Now that you are here, you have other spiritual treasures with weapon spirits, the 8-dragon cauldron's weapon spirit said angrily when he saw that Night Sorrow did not speak. Don't be angry. I didn't want this to happen either, Night Sorrow said apologetically. Recognize someone else as my master? That's impossible unless you kill me, the 8-dragon cauldron's weapon spirit said. Then you have to contribute to the Medicine Valley. If you suddenly run away one day, the Medicine Valley will suffer a great loss. Night Sorrow said with a bitter smile. He did not want the 8-dragon cauldron and the Medicine Valley to happen to the Pagoda of Time and Space in the Qingtian region. You have amazing luck and will achieve great things in the future. It's not impossible for me to help you in the Medicine Valley. If you give me a strand of origin energy, I will borrow your luck and chi to cultivate. In the future, I will continue to stay here. If you want, I can also leave with you. Love, go little say, Chu, the 8-dragon cauldron's weapon spirit said. All right. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. He knew that this could prevent the 8-dragon cauldron from being recognized as its master and prevent it from running away by itself. Then Night Sorrow waved his arm and sent a strand of soul energy into the ancient cauldron. Then it was absorbed by the weapon spirit inside the cauldron. Then a strand of energy rushed out of the cauldron and directly merged with Night Sorrow's body. Night Sorrow knew that this was the 8-dragon cauldron's origin energy. Sorry to trouble you, Night Sorrow said to the 8-dragon cauldron. Alright, go then. In addition, this is the cauldron spirit liquid. I will leave some for you every year. Then a white beam flew out of the 8-dragon cauldron and shot towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow waved his left arm and wrapped the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid with his energy. Then he poured away the wine he drank and put the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid inside. Is there anything I can do for you? Night Sorrow asked after putting away the jug. There's nothing else. Work hard on your cultivation. If anything happens in the Medicine Valley, I will fight. I can still tell the difference between those who cultivate the sacred cauldron sutra and help them, said the vessel spirit of the 8-dragon cauldron. I'll come back to visit you when I have time. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards the 8-dragon cauldron. With your power of origin, I'm going to evolve again. You should stay away, said the 8-dragon cauldron. Night Sorrow nodded and left Pill Tripod Cliff in a flash. After a few flashes, he landed on the side of Scenic Mountain. Then he cupped his hands towards Hua Yunpeng and the Great Elder. Supreme Elder, I'm sorry. I already know what happened. This is very good. If anything happens, the people of the Medicine Valley can activate it. That's enough, Hua Yunpeng said with a smile. At this moment, the energy on Pill Tripod Cliff boiled and the energy clouds rippled in all directions. Then the 8-dragon cauldron shook violently. Then it shone brightly and directly rose into the sky. After rising into the sky, the 8-dragon cauldron continued to shine. At the same time, energy spewed out. White energy once again covered Pill Tripod Cliff. Night Sorrow noticed that the energy emitted by the 8-dragon cauldron was still white, but its body was surrounded by colorful light. It has been promoted to a mid-grade holy treasure. Lil Kong's voice sounded in Night Sorrow's mind. What about you? Night Sorrow communicated with Lil Kong. I don't know, but the Spacetime Treasure Pagoda is definitely more advanced than it. I'm now an incomplete weapon spirit. I don't remember or know many things. In terms of weapon spirits, it's more advanced than me. At the very least, it can communicate with sound, but I can't do that. Lil Kong communicated with Night Sorrow. You can do it in the future too. Night Sorrow comforted Lil Kong. At this moment, another ray of light was emitted from the 8-dragon cauldron. It instantly flew to Scenic Mountain and entered Night Sorrow's body. This is the power of the medicine spirit. After it fuses with your body, it can't help you much usually. However, once you are injured, it will allow you to recover in the fastest time. The 8-dragon cauldron's voice sounded in Night Sorrow's mind again. Night Sorrow bowed to the 8-dragon cauldron again. He felt that he had failed the 8-dragon cauldron. You don't have to think about anything else. With your power of origin, this holy treasure is complete. With your luck, it will continue to be promoted. The 8-dragon cauldron seemed to understand Night Sorrow's state of mind. You can take it with you, the Great Elder said. The Medicine Valley still needs it to nurture disciples. Night Sorrow glanced at the group of Medicine Valley disciples behind them and said, "The Medicine Valley still has the Golden Flame Palace. The Golden Flame Palace can help disciples cultivate. You have brought too much to the Medicine Valley, but the Medicine Valley can't give you anything. If you want to take it with you, you can take it with you at any time," Hua Yunping said. "I won't take it with me for the time being." Night Sorrow shook his head. After looking at Night Sorrow, Hua Yunping turned around and looked at the crowd of Medicine Valley disciples. "The Medicine Valley has today. You must remember one name, Night Sorrow. The disciples of Medicine Valley can stand up straight and walk in the Eastern Profound Domain with their chests out. You must remember one person, Night Sorrow. The pride of our Medicine Valley. Greetings, Deputy Valley Master Knight." All the disciples of Medicine Valley bowed to him. Night Sorrow was about to return the greeting when the Great Elder stopped him. "Night Sorrow, what are you doing? You are the Deputy Valley Master of Medicine Valley. You deserve their greeting." "I forgot. I always thought of myself as a new disciple," Night Sorrow said, a little embarrassed. The original version Yi Xiling walked over and smiled at Night Sorrow. "You can't joke like this. It'll be fun if you return the greeting today. The Medicine Valley has been developing rapidly. The disciples of the Medicine Valley are working very hard because they all know that a third-level Qi refining disciple of the Medicine Valley appeared out of nowhere a few years ago and brought glory to the Medicine Valley in them. This is very inspirational. They can't help but work hard to learn about it," Duan Lei said with a smile. "Martial Uncle Duan, you must be joking." Night Sorrow cupped his hands to Duan Lei. "I'm not joking at all. Not many people in the Medicine Valley know you, but almost no one doesn't know the name Night Sorrow." Duan Lei shook his head and said. Then Hua Yunping and the Great Elder pulled Night Sorrow to the Pill Tripod Hall. "Gong Xian Lingxiao, the Medicine Valley is on the right track. I'm also tired, so I won't take care of the Medicine Valley's affairs. In the future, the Medicine Valley's affairs will depend on you," the Great Elder said to Gong Xian and Chu Lingxiao. "Then choose a day. We'll respectfully send the Great Elder to the Hall of Worship," Gong Xian and Chu Lingxiao said. "There's no need for such a grand ceremony. I felt that my realm was enough some time ago, so I'm going to touch the threshold of the Venerable Realm and see if I can make a breakthrough. Otherwise, I won't have much time left," the Great Elder said. Chapter 582. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/shao? Xuanhuan provides you with wonderful novels to read. No need. You youngsters still have a long way to go. You can keep the resources for your own use. Love go/shao shua www.ichuxs.com, the Great Elder said with a smile. "Just take it, Great Elder. It's a token of my appreciation." Night Sorrow took out a jade bottle and poured a dozen drops of life essence into the Great Elder's hands. A dozen drops wasn't a small number. Back in the Medicine Valley, the heaven-ranked disciples only used 1 or 2 drops of Medicine Cauldron Spirit Elixir. "All right, I'll take it then." The Great Elder nodded at Night Sorrow. "I know your world is out there. Don't worry about it. Come back and rest if you're tired. The Medicine Valley will always be your home," Hua Yunping said. Night Sorrow bowed to Hua Yunping and the Great Elder. "If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave." "Go." The Great Elder nodded at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow cupped his hands at Gong Xian and Chu Lingxiao. Then he walked out of the main hall, released Xianyu and left. Resolute and decisive. "This little guy has trained well," the Great Elder said as he looked in the direction Night Sorrow had left. "It won't be long before he becomes a supremacy. He won't be a little guy anymore. Gong Xian Lingxiao, you have to work hard." Hua Yunping said to Gong Xian and Chu Lingxiao. "No matter how hard we work, it's useless in front of him," Chu Lingxiao said with a wry smile. Hua Yunping smiled. He knew that no matter who was in the same generation as Night Sorrow, they would be helpless. After Night Sorrow reached Danding City, he took the teleportation portal back to Qingxin Villa. Since he did not see Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu in the main building of the backyard, Night Sorrow arrived at the training ground of the God-slaying squad. In the martial arts practice field, Night Sorrow saw the scene of a heated training session. However, he realized that everyone's training method was somewhat different from before. Currently, everyone was practicing joint attack tactics. "What's going on?" Seeing that everyone had stopped cultivating, Night Sorrow asked. "Only why?" This was Sister Linglong's idea. Sister Linglong's hometown has a group attack tactic, so we all wanted to try it out, Nanli US said. "This is a group attack technique that is popular in my hometown," Linglong said. "That's because we don't understand formations. It would be great if we did. I've read some ancient books. There used to be formations in the past but they were all lost. The main reason is that no one pays attention to them now, Yang Lei said. Others may not care but we do. If you don't know formations you can learn them. I'll leave for a while. After releasing Qianyu, Night Sorrow left directly. He planned to see Wu Lingfei. Wu Lingfei cultivated formations. This was something that Night Sorrow knew. This guy is in such a hurry. I wonder what he's going to do, Yang Lei said. I think the captain is going to study formations. When Ninth Senior Sister mentioned the formation attack tactic, the captain's eyes lit up, Nan Liu said. Sikong Chiyu nodded. She felt that this was possible. Night Sorrow was someone who did what he wanted to do. He would not drag things out. Sitting in the strategic teleportation portal, Night Sorrow arrived at Taiyue Domain's West Sea City. He went to the mountain next to the Realm Sea battlefield to see Wu Lingfei. Why are you here again? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Ani Fei that. I want to learn formations. Night Sorrow hesitated for a moment before speaking. After all, formations were also an inheritance. It was a bit inappropriate to speak like this. If you want to learn then learn. What's there to be embarrassed about? But can you handle it? You need to cultivate your body, your true energy, your innate bloodline power, and your soul power. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'll study it when I have time. It won't affect my main cultivation direction, Night Sorrow said. All right. From today onwards, I'll explain formations to you for 2 hours every morning, Wu Lingfei said. Wu Lingfei was naturally willing to teach Night Sorrow if he wanted to learn. In the following days, Night Sorrow cultivated the basics every night. In the morning he practiced spear arts for a while. After that, he would learn formations from Wu Lingfei. In the afternoon he would study formations by himself. Junior Sister Wu, do you think this guy doesn't know how to get tired? Lin Yuandao asked as he watched Night Sorrow inscribing formations in the distance. Indeed. Most people wouldn't be able to handle it. He must have a reason for studying formations. I'll ask him later. However, this guy's talent in formations is also ridiculously high. He'll understand as long as I explain it to him, Wu Lingfei said. This is a talent. He can cultivate any one of them, Lin Yuandao said. After Night Sorrow practiced inscribing formations for a while, he returned to his tent. Night Sorrow, tell Auntie Fei, why do you cultivate formations? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. It's like this. I want to study a joint attack formation. That way the members of the god-slaying team can increase their combat power. Night Sorrow explained why he wanted to cultivate formations. Actually, formations are very useful. It can be used in many ways. After hearing Night Sorrow's answer, Wu Lingfei nodded. Night Sorrow was a person who could calm down. He cultivated and studied formations at the same time. He felt that his life was very fulfilling. Half a month later, Night Sorrow's myriad Dao scripture had improved to the 5th level of the Dao-seeking realm. The crescent moon blade in his spirit sea had become more solid. His biggest gain was the cultivation of formations. Now he could already set up some low-level formations. After that, Wu Lingfei began to teach Night Sorrow mid-level formations. Night Sorrow cultivated every day without any worries in his heart. After all, the war was in a stalemate. The Qingtian region would not dare to start a war rashly. The Eastern Xin region, the North Sea region and the Tianji Tower did not have the intention to attack them either. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. Night Sorrow's true Qi cultivation base improved very slowly. However, it had also reached the mid-8th level of the Void Inquiry stage. The myriad Dao scripture had also reached the peak of the 5th level of the Dao-seeking realm. Night Sorrow's formation skills improved even faster. He had already mastered mid-level formations. He had also mastered a few high-level formations. Now that you know the rules and patterns of high-level formations, you can slowly study them yourself. Now Aunt Fei will teach you composite formations. Composite formations are the combination of several formations. If used properly, a low-level formation can display the power of a mid-level formation while a mid-level formation can display the power of a high-level formation. While Wu Lingfei was explaining, she began to casually set up a formation for Night Sorrow to observe. At this moment Tai Shu Yen came. She chatted with Lin Yuandao casually. Senior brother Lin, isn't it unnecessary for Night Sorrow to learn this? This guy should cultivate his combat power and walk the path of violence. Let others learn formations and whatnot. Tai Shu Yen said. She had been here a few times and she did not agree with Night Sorrow's practice of formations. She felt that he should focus on improving his combat power. Your idea is right. However, Night Sorrow's cultivation speed is too fast. It's good for him to stabilize his foundation while cultivating formations. After all, he is still too young. Learning formations can help him stabilize his foundation. Lin Yuandao spoke out the reason why he supported Night Sorrow in learning formations. Chapter 583. Genius 1 second. Remember love/go/little? Xuanhuan provides you with wonderful novels to read. After taking Night Sorrow to practice drawing array diagrams for a while, Wu Lingfei brought Night Sorrow back. Junior sister is here. Wu Lingfei greeted Tai Shu Yan. If you have nothing to do, come and sit down. Senior sister has a pot of good tea to drink. Night Sorrow, how's your array formation practice? Tai Shu Yan asked while looking at Night Sorrow, who was brewing tea. It's okay. The study of array formations is broad and profound. It needs to be studied slowly. I found that as long as you are willing to study array formations, there is no limit. Low-level array formations can be infinitely evolved. Night Sorrow said. SG is the only genuine copy, L others equals N all, 5 is a pirated copy. Yes, studying array formations takes time, but it can also cultivate one's mind. Night Sorrow, find a few array formations in the middle and let the members of the god-slaying squad remember the positions. Then, cooperate with them to attack. The effect will be very obvious. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. I understand. Recently, Night Sorrow had been studying this problem. Moreover, he had drawn a joint attack array diagram. A 3-person joint attack could use the 3 talents array, a 4-person joint attack could use the 4 directions constellation array, and a 5-person joint attack could use the 5 elements heavenly star array. Take this ancient array formation book and study it. What Aunt Fei can teach you is almost the same. In fact, after learning array formations, everyone is the same. As long as you are willing to study it, your achievements will be great. Love Gone Little Say W. Chu Lingfei handed a book to Yi Shang and said, Don't worry. Aunt Fei, you don't want to teach me? Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei with some surprise. It's not that I don't want to teach you, it's that I can't teach you. Aunt Fei has taught you the principle of array formations. You also understand the principle of mutual promotion and restraint. In the future you can slowly study it yourself. You are now able to arrange high-level array formations. You are already an array master. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. I am an array master? Aunt Fei, please don't make fun of me. I only know a little bit of it. Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's not up to you to decide. As long as you can set up a high-level array, you're an array master. If you can fuse 3 or more high-level arrays, you're an array grandmaster. Tai Shu Yan said. She was very shocked. It had only been a little more than 2 months, and under the circumstances of persevering in cultivation, it was really rare to be able to cultivate array formations to such a level. Take your time to study it. You'll definitely achieve something. Wu Lingfei was very optimistic about Night Sorrow's talent in cultivating array formations. To cultivate array formations, one needed to have a strong soul force, be good at deducing, and have a calm mind. Night Sorrow could do all of these. If you continue to ponder over alchemy and weapon forging, then you'll be developing in an all-round way, Tai Shu Yan said to Night Sorrow with a smile. Martial Uncle Tai, please don't attack me. I also have a purpose for learning array formations. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come into contact with this domain. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He knew that Tai Shu Yan didn't approve of him cultivating array formations. If this king remembers incorrectly, your information still says that you're an alchemist. What's your alchemy level? Lin Yuandao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I can refine level 5 pills for my own use, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, you just wait. Martial Uncle didn't say anything. Martial Uncle didn't stop you from studying weapon forging. Tai Shu Yan was completely speechless. She had really been hit by Night Sorrow. I won't learn weapon forging. When the time comes, I'll ask someone else to forge it, Night Sorrow said. After chatting for a while, Tai Shu Yan left. Night Sorrow also continued to meditate and cultivate. Junior Sister Wu, I think that after Inspector Gui stabilizes his cultivation, we can start. First, we'll chase after Jiu Hai Tian and deal with him. Even if we can't kill him, we'll still have to seriously injure him. Then we'll start a war in Qingtian Domain's Jiu family, Western Nether Domain, and Tianfeng Dynasty of Taiqing Domain, Lin Yuandao said. Baidu search AI go xiao shua www.ipicstorytelling.com. Okay, this kind of confrontation will delay things. I guess that elderly will also have some news. It doesn't matter whether he has advanced or not. If he has reached the half-step saint realm and can block an invincible venerable, then we can fight. Wu Lingfei nodded. Lin Yuandao nodded. Borrowing source stones to cultivate did not mean that one could use them all the time. It also depended on one's luck. If one cultivated for 3 months, they would be able to comprehend it. If one could not comprehend it, it would be a waste of time. After cultivating the foundation for a night, Night Sorrow got up and began to cultivate his spear art. Seeing that Night Sorrow had finished cultivating his spear art, Wu Lingfei waved her hand at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, go back to Eastern Shen Domain and take the god-slaying team to stand by. There may be a war soon. Okay, then I'll go back now. Night Sorrow nodded, then called Tianyu, who was dozing off, and rode Tianyu away from the mountain peak. Senior brother Lin, I'll go organize the troops. After saying that, Wu Lingfei flashed to the front of the camp in the Realm Sea and called all the commanders together. Senior sister Wu, do you plan to take action? Taishu Yen asked. Yes, gather half of the troops and let the people of Tianji Tower take them through the strategic teleportation array to enter Qingtian Domain's Jiyu family, Taiqing Domain's Tianfeng dynasty, and Western Nether Domain's hinterlands. If we go well here, then we'll directly start the war, Wu Lingfei said. Directly start the war? Taishu Yen asked in surprise. Yes, either we don't fight or we fight once. Since they want to fight us, then they'll have to pay the price, Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow returned to Eastern Shen City and gathered the members of the god-slaying team after arriving at Qingxing Cottage. I've been studying array formations during this period of time, mainly to increase our team members' ability to fight in groups. I'm going to draw an array diagram now. You guys record it down and then everyone can cultivate. Night Sorrow then started to draw an array diagram on the ground. Night Sorrow first drew the tripartite array diagram for a 3-person joint attack. Then he explained the changes in the array foundation of the tripartite array, as well as the changes in attack and defense after the changes in the array foundation. After explaining, Night Sorrow asked the members of the god-slaying team to familiarize themselves with any position in the array diagram. In other words, any 3 people would be able to use the tripartite array in a battle. Seeing that everyone had drawn the tripartite array diagram, Night Sorrow then drew the quadrangular constellation array for a 4-person joint attack and started to explain the changes in the array formation again. Everyone practiced these 2 array formations first. Remember, my request is that any 3 or 4 people can form the array. Everyone has to be able to adapt to any position, Night Sorrow said to everyone present. Yes. Everyone replied with a straight back. There might be a big battle. I don't want to see any of you injured or damaged. The joint attack array formation will be very useful, so you have to familiarize yourself with it as soon as possible and apply what you've learned, Night Sorrow said to the members of the god-slaying team. Yishan still had 5-man and 6-man joint attack array diagrams. These were the array formations that he had picked out from the array formations that were most suitable for group attacks. However, he was afraid that the god-slaying team would be greedy, so he had only taught them 2 types of array formations. After receiving the array diagrams, the members of the god-slaying team studied the changes in every position in the joint attack array diagram and put themselves in their shoes to think about what to do. Everyone studied for a day and then began to train under the arrangement of Xueling and Ho Jian. Night Sorrow, aren't you going to practice? Exquisite shouted when she saw Night Sorrow flipping through the books. Chapter 584. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We will provide you with interesting novels to read. 13. You left to learn array formations? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Love gone little say W. Chu. Yes, I learned array formations from Andy Fei for 2 months. The effects are quite obvious. Give me a teleportation crystal and I can set up a teleportation array, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then you are an array formation master. Captain, you are really awesome. You can fight, refine elixirs and set up arrays. You are an all-round expert, Nan Liu said with some emotion. Alright, you guys continue cultivating. I will return to the backyard. Remember, you have to be proficient in your cultivation. If you are not proficient in array formations, you are not allowed to cultivate anything else. After instructing Night Sorrow, he left. He wanted to go into seclusion to break through. A few days ago, he had cultivated the myriad Dao treasured tome to the peak of the 5th level of the Dao querying realm. Now he could continue cultivating and break through. This is the first time Captain has forced us to cultivate, Ho Qingjie said. This is something that can increase one's combat strength and survival chances. You have to cultivate it. Ho Jian glared at Ho Qingjie. Night Sorrow spent 3 days in seclusion this time. After 3 days, Night Sorrow officially cultivated the myriad Dao treasured tome to the 6th level of the Dao querying realm. As he advanced, the power of the myriad Dao treasured tome became stronger and faster. What made Night Sorrow a little depressed was that his bloodline talent had loosened a little. However, he could not activate it. He was still a little short of maturity. After leaving the secret cultivation room, Knight Sorrow started cultivating his spear skills. The increase in the cultivation level of the Myriad Dao Treasured Tome made Knight Sorrow's spear skills more swift and violent. Besides the increase in the power of the Myriad Dao Treasured Tome, Knight Sorrow's physical strength had increased as well. With greater strength, the strength of his attacks would naturally increase. After cultivating his spear skills for a while, Knight Sorrow arrived at the training ground where the god-slaying squad was cultivating. When Knight Sorrow arrived at the training ground, he was very satisfied with the situation. This was because the god-slaying squad's joint attack formation had already taken shape. They were all practicing in groups and constantly changing positions. Clapping his hands, Knight Sorrow asked everyone to stop cultivating. Not bad. We're already on track. Let's go out for a drink and relax before coming back to cultivate. Yishang led a group of people to a restaurant and ordered the best food and wine. Then he led everyone to start drinking. Captain, I'm sure you have more than 2 formation diagrams, right? Nan Liua asked as she drank her wine. That's true. However, everyone should first familiarize themselves with the 2 sets of joint attack formations. In the future, I'll give you 2 sets of formation diagrams, Knight Sorrow said after taking a sip of wine. Let me tell you something. The joint attack formation is the team leader's painstaking effort. It is also the ultimate move of our god-slaying squad. Everyone make sure to keep it a secret. Do not leak it out, Ho Jian said as he looked at everyone. Don't worry. We will cherish the captain's efforts, Lei Bao said. After drinking, the group returned to the mansion. The members of the god-slaying squad continued to cultivate the joint attack formation. Knight Sorrow went to a corner of the training ground and meditated. His current direction was to improve his soul power and bloodline talent. As for his true energy and the Myriad Dao Tome, Knight Sorrow wanted to be stable. His true energy and the Myriad Dao Tome had been improving too quickly recently. Rapid improvement would cause his cultivation base to be unstable. Although the direction of their cultivation was different, everyone was in high spirits. Knight Sorrow continued to absorb the power of space transmitted by the Spacetime Pagoda and hit the 5th Bloodline Talent Energy Point under the Dragon Bone. Ninth Senior Sister, is the captain 20 years old? Why do I feel that even someone a few decades old is not as mature as the captain? Love Gon Little Say. Chunin Liua looked at Knight Sorrow and asked Yang Lei, who was meditating in a corner of the training ground. How could there be a mistake? If we calculate based on bone age, he was 14 when he joined the sect. Now that he has been in the sect for 4.5 years, he is not even 20 yet. His actual age is a little over 20, Yang Lei said. Ah, Ninth Senior Sister, you and Chuyu are scourges. You are eating young grass. Ling Long said with a smile. You are too vicious, Sikong Chuyu said as he reached out and pushed Ling Long. While everyone was familiarizing themselves with the joint attack formation, they continued to cultivate. Knight Sorrow sat there motionlessly and worked hard to break through the 5th Bloodline Talent Energy Point. Time slipped by slowly. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed. Knight Sorrow realized that the 5th Bloodline Talent Energy Point was loosening. He took out a spatial crystal and started to break through it. Ninth Senior Sister, will Knight Sorrow be fine cultivating like this? Sikong Chuyu, who had finished cultivating the joint attack formation, asked worriedly. He should be fine. Let's wait for another 2 days. If he still can't do it, we will wake him up. Cultivating like this is not good. It will tire him out. Yang Lei nodded. She also did not want Knight Sorrow to work too hard. Knight Sorrow was absorbing the energy from the spatial crystal. Together with the spatial energy from the Spacetime Pagoda, they rushed towards the 5th Bloodline Talent Energy Point under the Dragon Bone. As Knight Sorrow worked hard to break through, the 5th Bloodline Talent Energy Point under the Dragon Bone on his back began to shake. Then it started to erupt. At this moment, Knight Sorrow's body was filled with rich spatial energy. A moment later, Knight Sorrow's body trembled. The 5th Bloodline Talent Energy Point was completely activated. After activating the 5th Bloodline Energy Point, the spatial energy within Knight Sorrow's 5 Bloodline Energy Points began to circulate and rush towards the 6th Bloodline Energy Point from time to time. QS only 1, PSX version 5D, its F unspecified currency he 1, all %. Is Grobber 3 version? Knight Sorrow knew that he didn't know how long it would take to activate the 6th Bloodline Talent Energy Point. Right now, the 5th Bloodline Talent Energy Point was extremely empty. He needed to slowly cultivate until the 5th Bloodline Talent Energy Point was completely saturated. Only then would it be effective to activate the 6th Bloodline Talent Energy Point. After sensing the condition of his body, Night Sorrow stood up and put away the spatial crystal in his hand. He then walked over to the god-slaying squad. Captain, you can't cultivate like this. You'll tire yourself out. Nan Liua looked at Night Sorrow and said. Recently, I've been trying to break through a bottleneck, so I've been a little impatient, Night Sorrow said with a smile. But your cultivation hasn't broken through? Ling Long asked Night Sorrow. It's not in terms of cultivation. It's something else. Currently, you guys have no problems cultivating the 2 joint attack formations. I'll get you guys another joint attack formation diagram in a few days. I don't know when the news of the battle will arrive, but I think it'll be soon, Night Sorrow said as he tidied up his robes, which were slightly wrinkled from sitting cross-legged for a long time. Night Sorrow knew that when Wu Lingfei said to prepare for the battle, there was going to be a battle. However, he didn't know when the battle would start or what kind of battle it would be. Then, Captain, give us another joint attack formation diagram, the tripartite formation and the 4 corners constellation formation. Our brothers have already cultivated it well, Ho Jian said. That's fine. You guys continue cultivating the joint attack formation. Night Sorrow took a branch and drew the 5 elements heavenly star formation diagram on the ground. He then explained it to everyone. Chapter 585. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? Say net, providing you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow had activated his 5th bloodline energy point, increasing his bloodline energy by more than a third, close to half. This was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that the 5th bloodline energy point had a lot of space, which meant that there was a lot of room for development. Baidu search AI go female xianxia say www.ichuxs. So if Night Sorrow could fill up the space in all 5 bloodline energy points, the power of the space crack would double. A cultivation maniac. Being in the same generation as a cultivation maniac is destined to be a tragedy for a genius like me, Exquisite said while rubbing her forehead. That's why we have to work hard. If we don't work hard, we won't be able to fight alongside Captain in the future, Ho Jian said with a smile. Love go little say Webku, that's true. Let's continue to work hard. Let's study the diagram first. Exquisite took out the diagram she had drawn and began to study it. This is a delicate job. I'm really surprised that Captain could do it so well, Lei Bao said. You mean Night Sorrow is very careless? Actually, Night Sorrow is very meticulous, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Time slipped away bit by bit. Night Sorrow absorbed the energy of the space crystal to strengthen his bloodline talent. At the same time he cultivated his soul power and the crescent blade of the soul extinguishing slash. At the same time he also cultivated his chi. The myriad Dao Tome stabilized his cultivation and improved it naturally. The space of Night Sorrow's 5th bloodline energy point was terrifying. Night Sorrow only increased the saturation by a small amount after using a space crystal. After 20 days, Night Sorrow absorbed the energy of 3 space crystals to fill up the space of the 5th bloodline energy point. Taking a deep breath, Night Sorrow stood up and created a space crack. After the crescent-shaped space energy slash appeared, it slashed forward. Space was like a piece of white paper as a black hole was cut open. Furthermore, under the control of Night Sorrow's state of the union of heaven and man, the spatial tear closed very slowly. Looking at the space crack slowly closing, Night Sorrow felt that if he tried his best to control it, the space crack could last for a while. However, he still did not understand what the space crack was. Looking at the turbulent space flow inside the space crack, Night Sorrow knew that if he went in he would die. Night Sorrow stared blankly at the closing spatial rift. The members of the god-slaying squad ran over and stared blankly at Night Sorrow. Everyone had seen the spatial crack that Night Sorrow had created, but they didn't understand how Night Sorrow had done it. Night Sorrow, what was that move of yours? Exquisite asked, looking at Night Sorrow. It's an innate skill, but it's not perfect yet. I don't know how it works yet, Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his messy hair. It's not perfect yet? That's really not going to let us live. Exquisite was a little depressed. Night Sorrow's move was so strong, but it was still not perfect. Then, Night Sorrow asked everyone to cultivate while he continued to think about the cultivation direction of the space crack. Night Sorrow had heard from Wu Lingfei that the space crack could break open space. It could even be used to enter the turbulent space flow and travel through space. However, he couldn't do it now, even if he was a supremacy. Love, Gone Little, say, W. Chu. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that he should wait until he reached the supremacy realm. He was still lacking a lot. Then Night Sorrow sat down and stabilized his bloodline talent. He quickly absorbed 3 space crystals to stabilize his cultivation. While stabilizing his bloodline talent, Night Sorrow also took the mystic turtle crystal to cultivate. His soul power, true chi and myriad Daos tome began to advance together. After cultivating for a few more days, Lan Yuxuan came with Wu Lingfei's order. She asked the god-slaying squad to enter the Qingtian domain and wait for orders to fight. Once the order arrived, they would attack the Jiyu family's forces in the Qingtian domain. Lan Yuxuan was responsible for protecting everyone. In addition, Night Sorrow didn't know that Lin Yuandao had sent someone to inform Gold Palace Master Yao Yang to protect Night Sorrow's squad. Yao Yang was waiting for Night Sorrow to meet up with him. Everyone get ready. We'll set off in 2 hours. Night Sorrow gave the god-slaying squad an order. They didn't prepare much, so they set off immediately. The group took the strategic teleportation array and went directly to the underground hall of the Celestial Peak Pavilion in the Qingtian domain. They left the underground hall and rested in the courtyard behind the Celestial Peak Pavilion. It was more convenient to travel at night. Lan Yuxuan took out a map and pointed to the attack point circled on it for Night Sorrow. It was the Jiyu family's Ji Royal City. Currently, most of the Jiyu family's forces were in Qingtian City, but the origin of the Jiyu family was in Ji Royal City. This time, Night Sorrow and the others' first target was Ji Royal City. Their second target was Jiyu family's branch and property in Valurium City. Let's go as soon as possible. There was no teleportation array to Ji Royal City. It wasn't that there was no teleportation array to Ji Royal City, but they couldn't use it. If they did, they would be discovered by the Ji family in advance. While Night Sorrow and the others were resting, Lan Yuxuan met up with Yao Yang, who was in charge of protecting the operation. Yao Yang wouldn't participate in the battle. He followed in secret to protect everyone's safety. His main concern was Night Sorrow and Ling Long's safety. The others were secondary. When the sky turned dark, the group left the Celestial Peak Pavilion on their mounts and set off for Ji Royal City. Night Sorrow and the others were in high spirits. In fact, they were very excited. Supervisor Lan, are there any venerables from the Jiyu family in Ji Royal City? Night Sorrow asked. The existence of venerables was the most unstable factor, so Night Sorrow wanted to know. Maybe, but it won't be a high-level one. Leave it to me. What the god-slaying team needs to do is to strike down Jiyu's family's arrogance and destroy their base. This should be a big blow, Lan Yuxuan said. We should be supporting the operation, right? Night Sorrow looked at Lan Yuxuan and asked. Yes, Master Wu Kei and the others should be moving. I don't know the details. We will wait for news when we arrive at Ji Royal City. There is a branch of Tianji Tower there. If there is a battle order, they will send it to us directly, Lan Yuxuan said. Night Sorrow nodded. He believed that Wu Lingfei and Lin Yuandao should have made the appropriate arrangements. Otherwise they wouldn't start the battle. After arriving at Ji Royal City, the group didn't enter the city. Instead, they set up camp outside the city and waited for news of the battle. Let me tell you. Our battle is only against cultivators. We won't attack cultivators below the 3rd stage, Night Sorrow said to the members of the god-slaying team. Bang! The members of the god-slaying team responded to Night Sorrow by knocking on their breastplates. Let's set up camp and rest. Ho Jian, send someone to stand guard. Night Sorrow gave the order to set up camp. After setting up camp, Night Sorrow stood on the mountain and looked at Ji Royal City. He knew that the battle between him and the Jiyu family was about to begin. The hatred for Father Gu's arm was about to be resolved. What are you thinking about? Sikong Chuyu came to Night Sorrow's side. Chapter 586. A genius remembers love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Don't worry. We've waited for a few years. A few more days won't make a difference, Sikong Chuyu said. Night Sorrow nodded. In fact, his heart had always been very calm. He would use actions to solve some things and would not let other things affect his mood. 13. We should be supporting the Realm War next. Could it be that West Sea City's Realm C is about to officially start a war? Yang Lei also came to Night Sorrow's side. P% Yangji $V red carrot novels for free. The battle in the Realm C is actually just a supporting role. The real battle is still between the saints, said Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow then gave his opinion. Night Sorrow believed that Wu Lingfei, Taishu Yen, and the others would not choose to fight in a mutually destructive manner. That way, Eastern Xian region, Northern Sea region, and Tianji Tower would all suffer some losses. If a saint were to join the battle, Jiyu and Haitian would definitely seek revenge. The Eastern Xian region, Northern Sea region, and Tianji Tower wouldn't be able to withstand it. According to Night Sorrow's estimation, Wu Lingfei and the others would adopt his original plan, which was to kill Jiyu Haitian first, then Wu Lingfei and Lin Yuandao would be able to attack without any scruples. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs. Suemsikong Chiu looked at Night Sorrow and asked, according to what you said, we have at least 3 saints on our side and possibly 4? I'm not sure about Elderly. He's an unknown factor. Chief Supervisor Gua has definitely broken through. Night Sorrow nodded. If we can successfully kill the Jiyu family's saints, we'll have more than 3 saints and some peak-level venerables on our side. By then we'll be able to crush the Tianfeng dynasty from the Qingtian domain, the West Nether domain and the Tai Qing domain, said Yang Lei. It's like this. If we can wait for the news of the battle, then everything will go smoothly. Night Sorrow said. He knew that Wu Lingfei and Lin Yuandao weren't reckless people. They wouldn't declare war without killing Jiyu Haitian. If they received the battle information, it meant that they had succeeded. Then we'll wait. Sikong Chiyu nodded. After observing Ji Royal City for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the campsite. Seeing that the members of the God-slaying squad were still cultivating the 5 elements heavenly star formation, Night Sorrow nodded in satisfaction and entered the tent to meditate. The brothers of the God-slaying squad did not need anyone to supervise them at all. Night Sorrow was not worried at all. Captain's will to fight is very strong, said Ling Long, who had stopped cultivating. Because Jiyu's family owes our captain. This time they have to pay it back, said Qin Jin. It can't be? I'm well informed. It said that our captain stole the woman that Jiyu's family likes, Nan Liu said as she looked at Qin Jin. That's not important. What's important is that Jiyu's family cut off one of our captain's father's arms, said Qin Jin. Qin Jin knew more about Night Sorrow than the others. How can this be? Our captain's father's revenge is our revenge. We must kill him mercilessly. Xueling said. Xueling said. It's not his father. It's his adoptive father who raised Night Sorrow. Because of him, his adoptive father was wronged. Night Sorrow is very sad, said Sikong Chiu, who had walked over with Yang Lei. He's too shameless, said Ling Long, that's why this is a big grudge. Yang Lei knew how much Night Sorrow cared about old Gu's father. Then when the order to fight comes, we'll start killing and burn Ji Royal City, said Ling Long after hearing Yang Lei and Sikong Chiu's words. That won't work because our captain won't let us hurt the innocent. If we burn Ji Royal City, the ordinary people will be affected, said Ho Jian. Are you a pig? I'm asking you if you're a pig. We won't burn the houses of the ordinary people. We'll burn the city lord's mansion and Jiyu's family's nest and steal their resources, Nan Liu scolded Ho Jian. I like that. We'll just rob them. We're righteous people. Otherwise we'll rob the women of Jiyu's family too, said Lei Zheng. Righteous people? Forget about it. If it weren't for our god-slaying squad having some rules, I reckon you wouldn't even let Jiyu's aunties off, said Ho Qingjie as he glanced at Lei Zheng. You can insult my body but you can't insult my character. Do I have such bad taste? Lei Zheng turned around and grabbed Ho Qingjie's robe, glaring at him. Let's not get physical. If you treat me like this, I'm worried that I won't be able to control my mouth. At that time you'll be the one embarrassed. I remember the last time we went to buy battle robes, I think I waited for you at the entrance of some shop for an hour, said Ho Qingjie as he patted Lei Zheng's hand. Brother, there's dust on your robe. Let me help you pat it off. Lei Zheng's attitude immediately changed after hearing Ho Qingjie's words. Yes, there's dust on my back. Let me pat it a few times. Ho Qingjie shook his robe. Lei Zheng chuckled as he patted Ho Qingjie's back. It was obvious that Ho Qingjie had taken out something that could be used against him. We're not interested in the trivial matters between men. Let's continue. Ling Long gave Lei Zheng and Ho Qingjie a disdainful look before returning to her tent. Night Sorrow began his cultivation using the Time Pagoda. However, he asked Shao Kong to stop the transfer of spatial power to him. The innate bloodline power needed to be stabilized and not improved. Without cultivating spatial power, Night Sorrow focused on cultivating his true chi and soul power at full speed. The others did the same. They were improving their strength at full speed. The days passed peacefully. The members of the God-slaying squad were very passionate about their cultivation. It was mainly because they had abundant resources. The treatment of the Blood Robes guards in the City Lord's mansion of Dongshin City was very good. However, there was also a limited number of 5th-grade pills. Now, however, the members of the God-slaying squad were not like that. As long as they needed it, they could get it. The effect of having abundant resources was that their cultivation base improved rapidly. Currently, the members of the God-slaying squad were all at the 2nd level of the Void Inquiry stage. Once they break through to the 3rd level of the Void Inquiry stage, They would not be far away from the 4th level of the Void Inquiry stage with the help of the Void Pill. In terms of the use of pills, Night Sorrow had set a rule for the Void Pill. Each member was not allowed to use more than 2 pills. He did not want them to suffer from the drawbacks of having unstable cultivation bases just for the sake of improving their cultivation base. Everyone also knew that it was not that Night Sorrow was reluctant to use his resources. It was also not that he did not have enough resources. Night Sorrow was just thinking about everyone's future. With the improvement of his soul power and the cultivation of the Crescent Blade, Night Sorrow was able to execute the soul-extinguishing slash with ease. The effect of the slash was very strong. He could completely kill the demon beasts without them noticing. However, using the soul-extinguishing slash consumed a lot of Night Sorrow's soul power. Currently he could only use it 3 to 4 times. When he used it for the 4th time he would feel dizzy. On the 6th day after they arrived, they received a battle order. It was a secret letter sent by a law enforcer of the Tianji Tower. Chapter 587. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Bang. The members of the God-slaying team knocked on their armors with their left hands in response. Don't kill the old, the weak, women and children. Don't kill anyone below the 3rd rank. Let's go now. Get on the mounts. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and gave the order. Then he released Tianyu. The members of the God-slaying team followed behind Night Sorrow's Tianyu and flew toward Ji Royal City. That was the origin of Jiyu's family. Lan Yuxuan flew behind the team. Behind the team was Yao Yang, who was wearing a golden robe. After entering the city, the team was attacked by the city guards' crossbows. However, the crossbows weren't a threat to them. Many of the members of the God-slaying team were proficient in flying swords. Each of them killed the city guards with a flying sword. Supervisor Lan, please help us destroy the teleportation formation. Just destroy it. We'll take care of the battle, Night Sorrow said to Lan Yuxuan. Okay, I'll go now. Lan Yuxuan nodded and left. Night Sorrow and the team flew directly toward the eastern city. G_more knew fastest, on $6 G Royal City was very big. After all, it was the origin of Jiyu's family. After half a cup of tea's time, the team arrived at the ancestral land of Jiyu's family. Set fire. Ho Jian roared. At this moment, the fire element members of the God-slaying team started shooting fire element sword lights at the gardens and houses of Jiyu's family. The violent fire element sword lights set the buildings of Jiyu's family on fire. Split up and fight. If you can't hold on, let out a long whistle. Night Sorrow ordered while flying on his flying feather. Following Night Sorrow's order, the members of the God-slaying team started to land in groups of 5 and attacked in all directions. Night Sorrow took Lei Bao, Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, Ho Jian, and a dozen others and rushed toward the ancestral shrine of Jiyu's family. At this time Lan Yuxuan also rushed over. She had also completed the task given to her by Night Sorrow. The ancestral temple was the core area of Jiyu family, and was also the symbol of Jiyu family. However, Night Sorrow and the others had also received the news that the people guarding the ancestral temple were all old people. Even if there were some venerables among them, they were not powerful. Those powerful venerables had already gone out to conquer the world instead of staying in Jiyu family. Jiyu family was the dominator of the Qingtian realm. Therefore no one dared to provoke them. Therefore Jiyu family didn't leave any powerful ones in their territory. Night Sorrow and the others arrived in front of the ancestral temple of Jiyu family. Ho Jian and his people started setting fires and killing guards. Night Sorrow didn't move because he discovered that there were still venerables in the ancestral temple. While Night Sorrow was wondering why there were 2 venerables here, an old man and a middle-aged man rushed out of the ancestral temple of Jiyu family. Who are you? How dare you? The old man roared out. He was the old man guarding the ancestral temple of Jiyu family. If I were a coward, I wouldn't have come to your family's territory, said Night Sorrow coldly. You're courting death. I'm Jiyu Haiqing, so you won't be able to leave this place alive. Jiyu Haiqing fixed his eyes on Lan Yuxuan. His cultivation base was lower than Lan Yuxuan's, and he knew that Lan Yuxuan was his biggest enemy. Supervisor Lan, do it? Night Sorrow waved his arm. Jiyu Haiqing roared out while throwing a space imprisonment spell towards Night Sorrow. Then he waved his hand and sent out a beam of sword chi towards Night Sorrow. He planned to kill Night Sorrow first. Your opponent is me. You don't have much time left. Today I'll send you away. Lan Yuxuan's body flashed across the air and blocked Jiyu Haiqing's way. Then the 2 of them started fighting. The middle-aged man took out a long sword and pointed it at Night Sorrow. How dare you come to our family's territory and make trouble? Today you'll all die. You're just a level 1 venerable who just entered the venerable realm. How dare you talk so big? Don't worry about it. Burn this place down. I want to see this place in ruins. Love go little say. Knight Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and gave an order to the people behind him. Everyone below the venerable realm is like an ant. I xuanhuan haven't killed anyone since I entered the venerable realm. Today I'll start with you. The middle-aged venerable xuanhuan looked at Knight Sorrow and the others and said, Captain. Lei Bao looked at Knight Sorrow with relief. Don't worry. I'll kill a venerable today. Knight Sorrow waved his hand and told the others to get back to work. Then he started fighting the middle-aged venerable. Then you'll die. Xuanhuan waved his left hand and threw the space bind, which was unique to the venerable realm, onto Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow smiled. At this moment the area around him was under his control. The space bind of a beginner venerable had no effect on him. Since Xuanhuan attacked, Knight Sorrow didn't hold back either. He rushed forward and unleashed the 7 stars brilliant moon spear art. The 7 spears merged into one and pierced towards Xuanhuan's chest. When Xuanhuan used the space bind, Yao Yang, who was protecting Knight Sorrow, became anxious and rushed forward to help. However, he stopped halfway because Xuanhuan's space bind was ineffective on Knight Sorrow. This meant that Knight Sorrow could fight. Xuanhuan was stunned when he saw that the space bind was ineffective on Knight Sorrow. He didn't understand what was going on. As a matter of fact, it wasn't Jiu's fault that he didn't understand. Since ancient times, Void Inquiry stage cultivators had to reach the Venerable Realm first before reaching the Venerable Realm. In other words, almost all those who had attained the unity of Heaven and Man Realm were Venerable Realm experts. Knight Sorrow had reached the unity of Heaven and Man Realm, and it was almost impossible for cultivators to reach the unity of Heaven and Man Realm. Even though he was thinking when he saw Knight Sorrow attacking him, Xuanhuan swung his long sword at Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Asterisk clang. Asterisk a crisp sound rang out. Xuanhuan was knocked back by Knight Sorrow's violent spear attack that was infused with spiral force. Knight Sorrow's innate strength and his spear technique were not something that Xuanhuan could withstand. After knocking Xuanhuan back, Knight Sorrow dashed forward and launched the 7-star glorious moon spear at Xuanhuan again. This time Knight Sorrow used the vibration force. Xuanhuan roared furiously and swung his sword at Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear again. Asterisk buzz asterisk a strong vibration sound rang out. Xuanhuan's body was knocked back again. His right arm was raised to the back. The strong vibration caused him to suffer a great loss. Right at this moment, Knight Sorrow threw the space bind that he had mastered onto Xuanhuan. After that, the innate bloodline power in his body erupted and he released a spatial crack. Asterisk rip asterisk the sound of something piercing through the air was heard. The space in front of Knight Sorrow was cut open like a calm water surface. Sensing danger, Xuanhuan dodged to the side. Although he dodged very quickly, Knight Sorrow's space bind still affected him. Affected by the spatial crack, his left arm and half of his shoulder were cut off. I said that I will kill the Venerable today, so I will definitely kill him. Knight Sorrow dashed forward and launched the 7-star glorious moon spear again. This time he did not merge the 7 spears into one. Instead he launched 7 spear lights at Xuanhuan. Damn it. At this moment, Xuanhuan wanted to run away. However, Knight Sorrow's attack was too fast. Xuanhuan had no choice but to swing his sword to block Knight Sorrow's spear lights. Sword chi pierced through the air and blocked Knight Sorrow's spear lights. However, the reincarnation spear was very close to Xuanhuan's chest. After blocking the sword chi, Xuanhuan's long sword shook again and blocked Knight Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Chapter 588. Geniuses Remember Love in 1 Second? This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Knight Sorrow thrust his spear into Jiu's chest, then pressed his right arm down, cutting Jiu's chest open and shattering his dantian. The reincarnation spear stopped in front of Jiu's dantian. Knight Sorrow and Jiu stared at each other. Why? Jiu's face was filled with unwillingness. He had just entered the Venerable Realm and was in high spirits, thinking that he had reached the peak of his life. But now it was all over. We have no grudge against each other, but your Jiu family is too arrogant and owes me too much. I'm sorry. Knight Sorrow shook his head and said, The Time Master of our Jiu family will kill you. Then xuanhuan fell to the ground and died with his eyes wide open. Knight Sorrow waved his hand and put away Jiu's storage ring and long sword. He knew that the Venerable of Time mentioned by Jiu was Jiu Hao. At this moment Lan Yuxuan was still fighting with Jiu Haiqing in the sky. Xuanhuan was completely suppressed by Lan Yuxuan. The members of the god-slaying team either killed guards or rode their mounts to set up a fire in Jiyu family's territory. Lei Bao also set fire to the ancestral temple of the Jiyu family. Lei Bao, tell everyone to move faster and find the warehouse, Knight Sorrow said to Lei Bao and the others. After a while, Lan Yuxuan killed Xuanhuan. Knight Sorrow stood in front of the ancestral temple of the Jiyu family, watching the temple burn and then collapse. Half an hour later, the members of the god-slaying team returned. We found a secret room and collected a lot of spirit stones, pills and some mineral materials. We have given them to Liyue, Xueling said. Let's charge towards the city lord's mansion. I don't think we'll even need to reach the city lord's mansion to meet the city lord's mansion's people. That's not a problem. If we kill our way there, the city lord's mansion will be burned down. Knight Sorrow rode Heavenly Feather in front. At the moment, the ancestral land of Jiyu family was ablaze. One could say that the ancestral land of Jiyu family was destroyed. Not long after they left the ancestral land of Jiyu family, the god-slaying team ran into the city guards. Led by Knight Sorrow, the god-slaying team started a massacre. The city lord of Ji Royal City Lord Manor was a supremacy, but he wasn't Lan Yuxuan's match and was directly killed. Knight Sorrow and the others had already landed on the ground and were killing their way forward. The members of the god-slaying squad who were free would set fire to both sides of the main street. Everyone knew that those who could set up shops on both sides of the main street were definitely not ordinary civilians. Let's go straight to the city lord's mansion, don't set it on fire, Knight Sorrow shouted. In Knight Sorrow's heart, revenge was a must. He also had to attack Jiyu family. However, he saw children hugging their mother's legs on both sides of the street. They didn't dare to enter the buildings because they were afraid that the houses would be burned down. Knight Sorrow was a little touched by this scene. He didn't want these children to live a bad life because of his decision. The hatred was caused by the higher-ups of Jiyu family. Knight Sorrow felt that it wasn't right to let the children bear it. Don't resist. Otherwise we will continue to kill. Knight Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and roared. At this moment, the city guards of Ji Royal City were frightened because their commander and captain had been killed. Glancing at the city guards who had retreated to both sides, Knight Sorrow led the god-slaying team to the front of the city lord's mansion. Let's go. Don't leave any cultivators above stage 3 in the city lord's mansion. Also, check if there are any warehouses. Pay attention to the underground. Knight Sorrow instructed. Then, the members of the god-slaying team started to move. Knight Sorrow stood there with his reincarnation spear. What's wrong? Do you feel something? Lan Yuxuan came to Knight Sorrow's side and asked. Yes. The consequences of war are very serious. I don't know how many people have lost their homes this time. Knight Sorrow said with some emotion. It's not our fault. Jiyu family caused this, Lan Yuxuan said. Yes. War is cruel. Knight Sorrow nodded. After a while, the city lord's mansion began to burn. Lei Bao and the other members of the Bloodstrike Guard were all warlike. They would spare no effort to attack Jiyu family. Forever. Free of charge. Free of charge. Speak. Captain, we have a great harvest. Xueling led the members of the god-slaying team out of the city lord's mansion with a few big boxes. What are they? Knight Sorrow asked. They are all spirit stones. There are more than 200 high-grade spirit stones and a few thousand medium-grade spirit stones. There are also materials for alchemy and weapon forging, Xueling said. Liyue take them? Knight Sorrow said to Nan Liyue. Strange. Why didn't they put them in the storage rings of important people? Nan Liyue muttered to herself as she collected the materials. These are shared resources. They have to be counted and recorded. It's not something that can be managed by just one person, Sikong Chuyu said. That's a good thing. It's a good thing for us, Ling Long said with a smile. Ling Long Ho Jian Xueling, take some people and burn down the buildings that belong to the city lord's mansion. I will wait for you here. Remember, don't hurt the civilians. Supervisor Lan, you follow as well. Don't let any experts appear suddenly, Knight Sorrow said. Yes. Everyone bowed, including Lan Yuxuan. Lan Yuxuan's cultivation was high, but Knight Sorrow was a heaven's extremity emissary. She had to follow Knight Sorrow's orders. Knight Sorrow held the reincarnation spear and stood in front of the city lord's mansion. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu stood behind him. No one questioned Knight Sorrow's decision. In fact, everyone knew that staying in front of the city lord's mansion was the most dangerous. Even if the experts of Jiyu's family came to rescue them, they would first go to a place like the city lord's mansion. After half an hour, the members of the god-slaying team returned. Their mission was completed. In other words, the real core industries and buildings of Jiu's family were completely destroyed. Luli City, let's go. Supervisor Lan, come with me. Night Sorrow let out Tianyu and set off with the group. Night Sorrow was not afraid of being reported. The teleportation array of Ji Royal City had been destroyed by Lan Yuxuan. Even if someone wanted to report, it would not be so fast. Night Sorrow, did you kill a venerable realm expert today? Ling Long, who was following behind Night Sorrow, asked. That was a guy who had just broken through to the venerable realm. His strength was ordinary. It was nothing. Night Sorrow said. Ling Long did not say anything. The others also fell into deep thought and did not say anything. Night Sorrow did not care about it at all. However, he had broken a common rule. He had broken a taboo in the heart of an ordinary cultivator. It was also the shackle in the heart of a cultivator. Venerable realm experts were invincible unless they reached the venerable realm. This was also the reason why everyone below the venerable realm was treated as ants. The venerable realm was the dividing line for cultivators. There was no comparison between a void inquiry stage expert and a venerable realm expert. However, Night Sorrow had broken the common rule today. A void inquiry stage expert could also kill a venerable realm expert. Liue, your harvest is not bad, right? This is the storage ring of that venerable realm expert. Night Sorrow threw Jiu's storage ring and long sword to Nan Liue. Chapter 589. Geniuses remember love in 1 second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Captain, let's talk about the resources. If you fight alone, you can keep the loot. If you fight together, you can give the resources to the team. Just like the warehouse in Jiu's ancestral land and the resources in the mansion, they belong to the team. Everyone can enjoy them together. If you fight alone, you don't have to hand them in, Ho Jian said to Night Sorrow. Captain, this is also the result of our discussion, Xueling said. Okay, that works too, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow originally wanted to hand in the long sword. However, after holding it in his hand, he realized that it was a low-level spiritual weapon of the water element. He could give it to xianxia. Jianghu City was still some distance away from Luli City. It would take 3 days to get there. Night Sorrow, this is the space crystal of Jianghu City's teleportation portal. It's very big. Even if you cut it, you can cut several parts. Jiu's family is really extravagant. Lan Yuxuan, who was standing beside Night Sorrow, took out a space crystal and handed it to Night Sorrow. Holding the space crystal, Night Sorrow was stunned. The value of the space crystal was very high. Lan Yuxuan gave it to him just like that. Chuyu, what's the price of the space crystal? Night Sorrow looked at Chuyu and asked. It's usually exchanged for top-grade crystals. The price is determined by how many parts can be cut. The main body doesn't count. If you can cut one part, you can get 5 top-grade spiritual stones. Of course, if you can cut more parts, the price will be higher, Chuyu said. This should be able to cut 3 parts, which is 15 top-grade spiritual stones. Night Sorrow took out 15 top-grade spiritual stones and handed it to Lan Yuxuan. That's not necessary. How can I take your spiritual stones? Lan Yuxuan said. She took out the space crystal because it wasn't very useful to her. Besides, she took it out because she wanted to build a good relationship with Night Sorrow. Take it. You deserve it. Night Sorrow hesitated for a moment. Then he pulled Lan Yuxuan's sleeve and put the spiritual stones into it. Night Sorrow had his own standards. If he didn't deserve it, he would never take it. Because he had taken advantage of others, Yishan didn't want to lower his head in front of anyone. In terms of personality, Yishan would never let himself be in debt. This way he could always stand upright. Lan Yuxuan nodded. She knew that since Yishan had made his decision, there was no point in rejecting him. After flying for a day, the sky darkened and everyone began to set up camp to rest. Nan Liue, Ho Jian, and Xueling counted their gains in Ji Royal City. After checking, everyone was surprised. The harvest was too big. There were several hundred high-grade spirit stones, and there was no need to mention the mid-grade spirit stones. In addition, there were also a lot of alchemy materials and refining materials. Then, Nan Liue handed the elixir refining materials to Night Sorrow. That's a lot. When I'm done, I'll give you the elixir pills, Night Sorrow said. As long as we have enough elixir pills, Nan Liue said. After resting for a night, the group continued to move forward. The 2 most important bases of Jiu's family were Jianghu City and Luli City. Jianghu City was the origin of Jiu's family. It was very important and could be said to be the place to cultivate the next generation of the family. Luli City was the center of Jiu's family business. It was a commercial city. It could be said that the lifeline of Jiu's family was there. Inspector Lan, Luli City is an important city of Jiu's family. If there are many venerables, we may not be able to take it down, xianxia said. Free of charge. Read one novel, it doesn't matter. We're prepared. Someone will deal with the venerables. Lan Yuxuan opened her mouth and said. You're reading on novel full thanks, Lan Yuxuan said. Knight Sorrow nodded. xianxia's question was also what he wanted to ask. Although he was not afraid, he would never let his brother take unnecessary risks. When the group arrived outside Luli City, there were already people waiting for them. They were the two elders of Tianji Tower. The two elders did not wear masks. They wore veils mainly because they did not want to attract attention. Inspector Lan is here. The two elders said. This is the two heaven emissaries, Lan Yuxuan introduced. The two elders directly bowed to Knight Sorrow and Ling Long. Then Knight Sorrow found out that the two elders had arrived 2 days ago. However, they did not make a move. Because even if they did, the two of them would not be able to do anything big. If they killed the other party's venerables, the other party would be on guard. As for the venerables slaughtering the city, this was something that all the venerables disdained to do. Then the attack began. The two elders directly entered the city and went to kill the other party's venerables. Knight Sorrow and the others also directly charged into the city. Attack, rob, and burn the businesses with the Jiu family symbol. Don't touch the businesses of other forces. Also, don't hurt the innocent, Knight Sorrow said. In Knight Sorrow's eyes, the old, the weak, women, children, and cultivators below the 3rd level were all innocent. The two elders of Tianji Tower killed their way in first. When Knight Sorrow and the others rushed into Luli City, there were no venerables opponents. Without any venerables opponents, Knight Sorrow and the others swept through. Jiu family shops and businesses were destroyed one after another. However, Knight Sorrow and the others also adhered to the principle. If they did not resist, they would not kill. Soon they arrived at the city lord's mansion. In the sky above the mansion there were 4 people fighting. 2 of them were the venerables of Luli City while the other 2 were the elders of Tianji Tower. The 2 elders of Tianji Tower had the absolute upper hand because the level of the venerables of Luli City was not very high. The higher level venerables had already been mobilized by Sky-bearing City to the battlefield in the realm sea. Kill our way in. After we're done, burn the city lord's mansion. Knight Sorrow stood in front of the gate of the mansion and shouted. The members of the god-slaying squad had already killed their way in. They directly raised their weapons and charged towards the guards of the mansion. The cultivation bases of the guards of the mansion were very high. They were all at the late void inquiry stage. In one-on-one combat, they were stronger than the members of the god-slaying squad. However, the members of the god-slaying squad did not only fight one-on-one. They also had joint formations which could kill their enemies with high efficiency. Who would be so free to fight one-on-one? Knight Sorrow stood there without moving because there was no need for him to do anything. The guards of the mansion were indeed very strong. However, they were still not on the same level as the members of the god-slaying squad. After a short while they were all killed. Corpses were everywhere. After that, Ling Long and Nan Liue led their people and charged into the mansion. There was a storehouse of resources in the mansion which they must seize. The battle in the sky was also coming to an end. The 2 venerables of Luli City were no match for the elders of Tianji Tower and were killed one after another. Lord Heaven Terminus Emissary, our mission has been completed. We need to go to the next place. After the 2 elders of Tianji Tower kept the spoils of war they obtained from killing the venerables, they nodded at Knight Sorrow and Ling Long and left. You don't want the resources? Knight Sorrow looked at Lan Yuxuan and asked in surprise. Chapter 590. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. After collecting the resources from the underground warehouse, Ho Jian and Shui Ling divided the god-slaying team into several teams and continued attacking Valurium City. Love go little say Netka war is cruel. The Jiu family was too arrogant. They finally paid the price for their actions, Knight Sorrow said emotionally. Do you know why the Jiu family developed so quickly? It's because they often start wars and make money from them. They should have thought of today's consequences, xianxia said. That's the truth. The Jiu family made a fortune from war. Naturally they lost because of war, Lan Yuxuan said. Now that we're done here, where are we going next? Yang Lei asked. There's no mission. The secret combat letter only asked us to attack these 2 places. We've already completed the mission, Knight Sorrow said. The 2 places we attacked are the 2 most convenient cities. That's enough. If we attack other places, they'll be prepared. Actually, this is a good result. We're just one of the teams in this war, Lan Yuxuan said. Yongju P/free novel F0. An hour later, the Jiyu family's forces in Valurium City were all eliminated. Knight Sorrow ordered the team to retreat and rode their mounts back to Sky-bearing City. I wonder if there's a war in Sky-bearing City, Knight Sorrow muttered to himself as he stood on Tianyu's back. There must be. There's no need to think about it. That's the core area of the Jiyu family. If we don't attack the Jiyu family's forces in Sky-bearing City, it'll be useless no matter how good our outer achievements are, xuanhuan said. The war in Sky-bearing City will be fierce because the Jiyu family has many venerables in Sky-bearing City. Plus, the City Lord Mansion won't just sit by and watch, so it's hard to imagine how fierce it will be, said Sikongchuyu. We'll know when we get back to Sky-bearing City, Knight Sorrow said. He was quite anxious to know the specific situation of the war. After a few days, the group reached the outskirts of Sky-bearing City. Knight Sorrow, you guys wait here. I'll go back to the city to take a look and then come back to inform everyone, xuanhuan said. Knight Sorrow and the rest were stationed outside the city, waiting for xuanhuan's news. 2 hours later, xuanhuan returned and told everyone that the battle in Sky-bearing City was over. They could enter the city now. The group went straight to the Celestial Peak Pavilion. Inside the Celestial Peak Pavilion, Knight Sorrow met Lin Yuandao. Supervisor Lan arranged for everyone to rest first. Knight Sorrow, you and Ling Long come with me to the Dark Tower, Lin Yuandao said to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow instructed Ho Jian and Shui Ling to lead the team and followed Lin Yuandao to the Dark Tower. Knight Sorrow saw Lutrin Swan in the Dark Tower. Knight Sorrow, Ling Long, you're all here. Lutrin Swan greeted them. Lord Tower, did we win this battle? Knight Sorrow asked somewhat anxiously. No one won this time, but Sky-bearing City suffered a great loss, Lin Yuandao said. Then Lin Yuandao explained the situation of the battle. Lutrin Swan hadn't reached the Sovereign Realm as he'd hoped. He'd only reached the half-step Saint Realm. Wu Lingfei, Lin Yuandao, Guoxiao, and Lutrin Swan had gone to Lutrin Swan's mansion in Sky-bearing City to kill Jiyu Haitian. In the end, they'd severely injured Jiyu Haitian, but he'd still escaped through Lutrin Swan's defense. Then Wu Lingfei began to pursue Jiyu Haitian. Lin Yuandao, Guoxiao, and Lutrin Swan returned to the Realm Sea battlefield and began to attack Sky-bearing City's allied forces. At this moment, another saint from Sky-bearing City appeared and repelled Lin Yuandao and the others. She'd also injured Guoxiao and said that if more saints participated in the realm war, no one would be able to bear the consequences. However, at this time Eastern Xian's allied forces in Sky-bearing City and Western Nether City had already begun to move. The saint from Sky-bearing City had made it very clear that she didn't care about the realm war, but saints couldn't attack non-saints from Sky-bearing City. This made the situation even more grim. Eastern Xian's allied forces were stronger than Sky-bearing Cities, but both sides would suffer great losses if they fought. Thus, both sides could only stop fighting. Of course, Sky-bearing City couldn't attack even if they wanted to, and Eastern Xian didn't want to suffer great losses. How's Aunt Fei's situation? Knight Sorrow was most worried about Wu Lingfei's safety. Compared to Master Wu Kei, Jiyu Haitian's cultivation is indeed higher, but his battle prowess is not as good as Master Wu Kei's. Furthermore, Jiyu Haitian has been seriously injured. Besides, Master Wu Kei has the polar moon wheel, so she is already in an invincible position. Lin Yuandao reassured Yi Shang. That's good. Quickly arrange for our forces to retreat. Once their venerables return, our other forces will be at a disadvantage, Knight Sorrow said. That's already arranged. Don't worry. Lin Yuandao nodded to Knight Sorrow. Does this mean that this realm war will end just like that? Ling Long asked. Yes, there's nothing we can do about it. That saint is very strong and I can't see her cultivation. In addition, she's very afraid of our Tianji Tower. She said that even if our Tianji Tower has a backer, we shouldn't go too far. If she didn't have scruples, we would have suffered heavy losses this time, Lin Yuandao said. Does that mean that our Tianji Tower also has a hidden saint expert? Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and asked. It's possible, but I'm not sure. Now that the situation has stabilized, although we didn't completely eliminate the Jiyu family, we've greatly damaged their vitality, Lin Yuandao said. Is Supervisor Guo's injury serious? Knight Sorrow asked. It's not a big problem. It's just that he hasn't advanced for long. He clashed with the other party and shook his origin, so he needs to rest for a while. Lin Yuandao nodded to Knight Sorrow. Then I'm relieved. If there's nothing else, let's go back to the Eastern Profound Domain. Knight Sorrow was a little anxious. He wanted to go back to the Qingxing cottage and see if Wu Lingfei had returned. I understand that you're anxious. Then you can go back. If there's any news about Master Wu Kei, let me know. Also, go back and rest and cultivate well. Let's not talk about the Qingtian domain first. There's still a battle in the Taiqing domain. The Tianfeng dynasty doesn't take our Qinji Tower seriously, so we'll beat them until they do, Lin Yuandao said to Night Sorrow. Now, Lin Yuandao had a deep grudge against the Tianfeng dynasty. After the Tianfeng dynasty left the stage of the Taiqing domain on Night Moon, the Yun dynasty guarded their own territory and didn't fight for it. This made the Tianfeng dynasty arrogant, thinking that they were the boss of the Taiqing domain. They even began to be hostile to the Qinji Tower and even squeezed the Qinji Tower's development. This made the Qinji Tower, which built its first base in the Taiqing domain, very angry, but they didn't take any radical measures and just maintained peace. This time, the Tianfeng dynasty once again interfered in the battle between the Qingtian domain and the Eastern Profound domain. This made Lin Yuandao angry and decided to give the Tianfeng dynasty a blow. Chapter 591. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with interesting novels to read. It's a pity that we didn't manage to hurt the foundation of Jiyu clan. Night Sorrow sighed and said, Not really. The war has indeed stopped. However, before that, Sword Venerable North Heaven led a team from the East Shen region and the North Sea region to kill a few people in Skybearing City. Many of Jiyu clan's venerables were killed and most of their properties were destroyed by the Blood Robes guards of the East Shen region. Lin Yuandao said, That's good. Lord K. Lord, if there's nothing else, we'll go back now. Night Sorrow said, You guys did a great job this time. However, you've also made Jiyu clan your enemy. So, be careful in the future. Lin Yuandao said. He was a little worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Junior Brother Yi should be fine. Lord K. Lord, you don't know that Junior Brother Yi killed a venerable from Jiyu clan with just a few moves a few days ago. Ling Long said with a smile. Great. Killing a venerable before entering the venerable realm. You're the only one in the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. Alright, let's go back. After hearing Ling Long's words, Lin Yuandao was greatly shocked. One should know that Night Sorrow had yet to reach the peak of the Void Inquiry stage. When he enters the Venerable Realm in the future, his strength would be even stronger. Night Sorrow left and Ling Long followed him. The two of them arrived at the underground hall of the Celestial Peak Pavilion. Senior Sister Ling Long, are you going to stay in the headquarters for a while or go back together? Night Sorrow looked at Ling Long and asked while walking towards the place where the God-slaying squad was resting. Ling Long smiled. You shouldn't ask this. I'm a member of the God-slaying squad. Of course I'll go with them. Junior Brother Yi, don't you like me? Night Sorrow nodded at Ling Long. Why wouldn't I like you? I just didn't know you well in the past. After fighting with you for a few times, I feel that you're not bad. So, it's really hard to get a good comment from you. Ling Long gave Night Sorrow a dissatisfied look. When they arrived at Lan Yushuan's courtyard, Night Sorrow called for the members of the God-slaying squad and led them to the Tianji Tower's strategic transportation array, rushing toward the eastern Shen region. Half an hour later, Night Sorrow led the group to Dongshen City. At this moment, Eastern Shen City was filled with a festive atmosphere because the Eastern Shen region had performed very well in this realm war. It was a great victory. Night Sorrow didn't care about this. He asked the others to lead the team back to Qingxin Cottage. He drove Tianyu to Tianji Tower. When they arrived at Tianji Tower, Night Sorrow asked Din Shui and Ho Yuan. Neither of them knew anything about Wu Lingfei. Afterwards, Night Sorrow rushed to the City Lord's mansion and asked Lei Hua, who was handling matters in the City Lord's mansion. Lei Hua didn't know about Wu Lingfei's situation either. Left with no choice, Night Sorrow could only return to Qingxin Cottage. Riding Tianyu to the sky above Qingxin Cottage, Night Sorrow's heart suddenly trembled. He saw the silver-winged eagle king shaking its wings and combing its feathers outside the observation tower. In a flash, Night Sorrow landed in front of the observation tower and entered it. In the hall of the observation tower, Night Sorrow saw Wu Lingfei meditating with her eyes closed. Translator, Henyi Translations Editor, Wu Lingfei opened her eyes and nodded at Night Sorrow. You're back. Have a seat. Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei carefully and asked, Are you all right, Aunt Fei? I'm fine. It's just that the Qingtian region wasn't prepared for another saint, so they didn't win the realm war. There was a hint of regret in Wu Lingfei's eyes. There's nothing we can do about it. It's fine as long as you're not injured. Love Gone Little Say, Chu. Seeing that Wu Lingfei was safe and sound, Night Sorrow felt a lot more at ease. Jiyu Haitian isn't qualified to hurt Aunt Fei. As for him, even if he's not dead, he'll have to shed a layer of skin, Wu Lingfei said with a smile. What exactly happened? Hearing that Jiu Haitian had suffered a setback, Night Sorrow's interest was piqued. Aunt Fei cut off his right arm and gave him 2 mysterious jade hands. His life source and meridian suffered a great blow. I don't think there's any possibility of recovery. In the end he used blood escape, which caused him to lose even more essence blood. I think he'll have to recuperate for a long time. Wu Lingfei said. That's good. What do you think about the appearance of a saint in the Qingtian region? Night Sorrow asked. There's nothing to think about. It's fine if she doesn't provoke the eastern Xian region, but if she provokes us, we'll see who's easy to provoke, Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was Wu Lingfei's character. If she had to fight, she would fight. Regardless of the outcome, she would fight to the death. Did it go smoothly this time? Wu Lingfei asked again. Everything went smoothly. And Fei, you're safe. Just inform Lord Quebec. They're all very worried, Night Sorrow said. Wu Lingfei smiled and told Night Sorrow that she had already arranged for someone to inform Lord Quebec. She had also just returned. After chatting with Wu Lingfei for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the main building in the backyard. When Night Sorrow returned, Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu were drinking tea and chatting. Did you see Aunt Fei? Xikong Chuyu asked. Yes, Auntie Fei has returned, Yishang said. Then, while drinking tea and chatting, Night Sorrow told them about the situation that Lin Yuandao had told him. He also told them about the saint in the Qingtian region intervening. I didn't expect the region war to end like this, Yang Lei said. This also highlights the importance of the invincible venerables. When the saint is restrained and unable to make a move, the invincible venerables are the key to victory, Xikong Chuyu said. That's right. Yang Lei nodded. Next, we'll have a good rest and improve our cultivation, Xikong Chuyu said. Xikong Chuyu's character was gentle. She liked a quiet life and didn't like to cause trouble. She didn't like the days of going back and forth on the battlefield. Maybe not, because Qinji Tower is probably going to go to war with the Tianfeng dynasty in the Taiqing region. The Tianfeng dynasty is too despicable. This time they had nothing to do with it, but they still got involved, Night Sorrow said. Then when will the war start? Yang Lei preferred a life full of challenges. Her character and Xikong Chuyu's were polar opposites. I don't know, but the Chief Tower Master mentioned this to me. It should be put on the agenda soon. The reason they haven't taken action yet is probably because they're recovering from the shock of the region war. After that they'll start the war, Night Sorrow said. Then we'd better improve our cultivation. You're lagging behind us. Xikong Chuyu changed the topic and didn't say anything about cultivating quietly. She was considerate. She didn't want her thoughts to affect Night Sorrow's train of thought. She didn't want to be a burden to Night Sorrow. Chapter 592. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Xiao? Xuan Web, providing you with wonderful novels to read. This book has been published for more than 3 months and I have written nearly 1.2 million words. All along I have asked for rewards, but today is different. This is the first time the website is holding an event, the Soap King event. Baidu search love go female sign Xiao Shuat www.adchux. Everyone should know that this book has 1.2 million words and I have not missed a single 5 chapters a day, nor have I stopped. This is almost unheard of in web novels. I am doing this because of my persistence and conviction. It is also my principle as a person. A person's character is the quality of a book. If a person is not suitable for it, no matter how good the book is, it is useless. Because if people don't like you, they will not like your book. I can guarantee that this book will be updated continuously and will not be unfinished. However, if I don't participate in this event, it will be really embarrassing. I have never asked my friends who usually don't reward me, but this time the website is holding an event together, so I need everyone's support. Brothers and sisters who like Myriad Daos becomes a god, please donate 1 or 2 pieces of soap. It can be considered as a form of support for me. Thank you everyone. Forever, watch for free. 8 Xiao, Say B. The preliminary competition will last for 10 days from today to the 29th. The website is holding the Soap King event. Go and find Myriad Daos becomes a god to support me. In addition, this does not conflict with the reward. As long as the reward exceeds 200 yuan, I will add more chapters on top of the guaranteed minimum of 4 chapters. If there are 10 chapters, then I will add 10 chapters. Still the same sentence, I guarantee my character. Actually, I can set 2 chapters as a guarantee. 3 chapters as a guarantee, but I feel that since I am writing this book, I will continue to be violent until the end. For chapters as a guarantee, I can still persevere. Although my body is a little weak, I can still make up for it with less rest. Bow and thank all my brothers and sisters who support Shiboy and Myriad Daos becomes a god. Chapter 593. Genius 1 second remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. I'm fine but Chuyu is suffering. She feels unreconciled. This time, we were clearly going to win and cripple the Qingtian region and Jiyu clan. However, something unexpected still happened. Yang Lei was a little annoyed as she said this. What are you doing? Yang Lei was a little annoyed as she said this. If the battle between the true saints was decided by the battle between the true saints, we would have nothing to do. It would be much less exciting. Didn't they agree that the true saints would not interfere in the battle between regions? Then, after we break through to the venerable realm, the world will be ours. Knight Sorrow was very happy that such a situation happened. After that, Aunt Feng arranged for the servants to send the dishes to the backyard. Knight Sorrow also gave Aunt Feng some mid-grade spirit stones to use for the expenses of the mansion. Now that there were many people in the mansion, the expenses would be higher. Love, Gone Little, Say, W. Chu. After dinner, Knight Sorrow went to visit the members of the God-slaying team again. He chatted with them for a while and also told them that there might be more battles happening in the future. After hearing the news, Ho Jian, Xueling and the others were very excited. They were all warlike and were afraid that there would be no battles. Haha, that's great. We can only get income from battles again. This time, the resources we obtained are very considerable. If we use them well, it won't be a problem for us brothers to use them for several years. Nan Liu said in a money-grubbing manner. Alright. You guys have one. Work hard to improve your cultivation base. The combat strength of an early Void Inquiry stage cultivator is completely different from a mid-Void Inquiry stage cultivator. You guys can eat extreme Void pills after reaching the 3rd level of the Void Inquiry stage. Then it won't be difficult for you to reach the 4th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Liu, our brothers must have sufficient resources. I don't want to delay our brothers' time in future because of the lack of resources. Knight Sorrow looked at Nan Liu and said, Captain, don't worry about this. I've kept some of the high-grade spirit stones as backup. The rest have been found. Also, everyone has a stock of clear void pills. Nan Liu said. Ah, Liu, you didn't give them to the captain, right? Ho Jian looked at Nan Liu and said, This matter, I really forgot about it. Captain, here's your share. Nan Liu took out some high-grade spirit stones. I don't need it, I have it, Knight Sorrow said. That won't do. This is our team's system. I've already given it to 9th senior sister and Chuyu. We're only lacking Captain. Besides, Captain was the one who paid for the teleportation fees. Nan Liu insisted. Then give it to me next time. That's it for now, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. That's fine too. Captain is rich, Nan Liu said with a smile. After chatting with the members of the God-slaying squad for a while, Knight Sorrow went to the backyard. After spending the night with the 2 women, Knight Sorrow greeted the 2 women and went to cultivate. Knight Sorrow's current cultivation direction was mainly soul power and bloodline power, followed by true qi and the myriad Dao treasured tome. Fortunately, these points didn't conflict. The space-time pagoda could help Knight Sorrow improve his soul power, bloodline power, and true qi. To cultivate the myriad Dao treasured tome, he had to absorb the energy of the Shen turtle crystal alone. Love, Gone Little, Say, W. Chu. Currently, Knight Sorrow's strength couldn't increase greatly because his true qi and the myriad Dao treasured tome couldn't be upgraded in the near future. It was the same for soul power and bloodline power. Knight Sorrow mainly focused on condensing the crescent blade to increase the attack power of the soul extinguishing slash. This cultivation lasted for 2 days. After leaving the secret cultivation room, Knight Sorrow walked towards the viewing tower. He wanted to ask Wu Lingfei about the next year's cultivation direction for the spatial split. When he arrived at the viewing tower, Knight Sorrow was surprised to see Wu Lingfei strolling with her hands behind her back. You seem to be in good spirits. Seeing Knight Sorrow walk over, Wu Lingfei greeted him. Knight Sorrow went to the pavilion in front of the viewing tower and took out a tea set to make a pot of tea. Auntie Fei, I'm a little confused. I want to ask you something. Well, if there's anything you don't understand, just say it. You don't have to be polite with me. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Then Knight Sorrow told her about his confusion about the spatial split. Wu Lingfei asked Knight Sorrow to use the spatial split with all his strength. The first half of your spatial split has already formed. You can't enter the spatial turbulence because your cultivation level is too low. Also, there's a problem with the protective energy. Wu Lingfei said. Then Wu Lingfei explained to Knight Sorrow in detail about the direction of the spatial split. Now that Knight Sorrow used the spatial split, he could delay the closing of the spatial split because he had the union of heaven and man. However, if Night Sorrow wanted to enter the spatial turbulence, he first needed to protect himself from the spatial turbulence. If he didn't want to be hurt by the spatial turbulence, he needed a powerful protective energy. When the experts of the Night Moon dynasty used the spatial split to enter the spatial turbulence, they used their bloodline's innate spatial power to protect themselves. The spatial turbulence was violent and contained many types of energy. Ordinary types of energy would not be able to withstand it. But Wu Lingfei felt that Night Sorrow didn't need to use the traditional spatial split. Night Sorrow had the supreme attribute of void true energy. Void energy was even more domineering than spatial energy, and would consume less energy to enter the spatial turbulence. Night Sorrow, the spatial split, is a heaven-defying technique. There aren't many experts in the Night Moon dynasty who can use it. Only the emperors with heaven-defying cultivation bases can use it. This is why most of the people in the Night Moon dynasty were able to retreat when they were ambushed. If your cultivation base is high enough, you can use the energy to envelop some people and send them into the spatial turbulence. How are they supposed to pursue you? Wu Lingfei said. I'll look into it, Night Sorrow said. Yes. You'll probably have to wait until you reach the sovereign realm before you can figure out its effects. You're at one with the world, but your cultivation base is too low. It's not the same as a sovereign's one with the world. Your one with the world allows you to fuse your spiritual strength with the space around you. But a sovereign's one with the world allows you to fuse your spiritual strength with the space around you. But a sovereign's one with the world allows you to fuse your spiritual strength with the space around you. That way, your control over the spatial turbulence will be much stronger. Once you reach the sovereign realm, perhaps you'll be able to prevent the spatial turbulence from harming you, Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. I understand. Thank you, Auntie Fei. Yishang nodded towards Wu Lingfei. After listening to Wu Lingfei's explanation, his heart became much clearer. Don't worry. You're doing very well. The main thing you need to focus on is the cultivation of your spiritual strength. That's the most important thing. You have a treasure, so Aunt Fei won't teach you any soul defense incantations. Wu Lingfei poured Night Sorrow a cup of tea. There's a soul defense incantation? Night Sorrow looked at Wu Lingfei in surprise. Of course. Otherwise, what if you meet a cultivator who specializes in soul attacks? Why is Swordmaster Northern Sky so strong? It's because he has a sword skill that attacks the soul. If your soul defense is weak, you'll be killed instantly. Wu Lingfei said. I understand. I don't need to cultivate soul defense incantations. Night Sorrow said. With the Void Fate Jewel, Night Sorrow's deity C couldn't be any more stable. Unspecified currency, $head_hair. Chapter 594. Genius remembers love in 1 second /small? I'll provide you with a wonderful novel to read. Ever since Yishang's soul power had entered the liquid state, he had noticed that the ethereal fate pearl had changed. It was spinning in Yishang's soul power lake, constantly absorbing Yishang's soul power. But while it was absorbing, it was also releasing energy to replenish Yishang's godly sea. Night Sorrow knew that this was a process of assimilation. When the Nihility Fate Pearl stopped absorbing his soul power, the assimilation and refinement would be complete. Then, he would be able to truly control the Nihility Fate Pearl and the Nihility Space. But soul attack secret techniques are too rare. My soul defense secret techniques come from the inherited memories of my race. I don't have any soul attack secret techniques, so I can't help you with that, Wu Lingfei said apologetically. Aunt Fei, I have a soul attack secret technique. You can take a look. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and took out the soul destruction slash. He felt that the death secret technique was the inheritance of the Dark Soul Saint. It wouldn't be appropriate for him to pass it on. The soul destruction slash shouldn't be included. As for whether or not it was appropriate for him to give it to Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow felt that it was appropriate. Wu Lingfei had treated him wholeheartedly, so there was nothing she wouldn't teach him. Where did you get this? Wu Lingfei pressed her hand on the book and looked at Yishan. Night Sorrow told Wu Lingfei about how he had obtained the inheritance of the Dark Soul Saint in the Death Space. The Death Secret Technique is the inheritance of the Dark Soul Saint. It's not appropriate for others to study it, but you can take a look at the soul destruction slash. Although I don't want to, I've been taking advantage of you this whole time. Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow with embarrassment. Auntie Fei, am I not your relative? Yishang asked. You're right. Aunt Fei should study it well. The world is a mess and we don't know when there will be a war. It's always good to have one more trick up your sleeve, Wu Lingfei said. After chatting with Wu Lingfei for a while, Night Sorrow returned to his residence and played with Tianyu and Silver Fox. Night Sorrow played with the two beasts for a while. Xianxia ran out of the room and came to Night Sorrow's side. Night Sorrow, my sky blue body has been successfully cultivated. That's great. Is it effective? Night Sorrow asked. Let's try it. Xianxia's body flashed and appeared beside the rockery in the courtyard. He waved his hand and punched at the rockery. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs.com bang. With a muffled sound, Xianxia smashed a protruding rock into pieces with a punch. Very good. Night Sorrow stood up and clapped his hands. He saw that Xianxia hadn't used Jin Qi. He had relied on his own strength and the strength of his fists to produce the effect. Not bad, Xianxia said with a smile. Night Sorrow took out a bowl of wine and poured a cup for Xianxia. Congratulations. As long as it's an ultimate attribute, one will be able to cultivate a unique body in the end. The only difference is that there are strong and weak ones. Ninth senior sister will also be able to do it in the future. Xianxia said. Yes, don't worry about me. I have also been exploring the purple flame lightning attribute recently. I will also have a chance. Yang Lei walked out of the room. Night Sorrow had been cultivating every day. As a result, the two women were also very hard-working. Their cultivation bases had also improved rapidly. They were not far away from the peak 5th grade void inquiry stage. Yang Lei was a genius disciple of the Medicine Valley. Her talent was extremely high. It was just that she was overshadowed by Night Sorrow's brilliance. Xianxia was also a good seedling that was rarely seen in the Xikong clan in hundreds of years. Otherwise, Xikong Luyun would not attach so much importance to him and Jiyu's clan would not have coveted him. Now that they had sufficient resources, their cultivation bases naturally improved quickly. I believe in Ninth Senior Sister. I believe that you can do it. Also, these are soul crystals. You have to pay attention to the cultivation of your soul power. It's the most important thing. Night Sorrow gave each of the two women 10 soul crystals. Datex. Version 97 UK, we won't stand on ceremony with you. We really need these. Yang Lei kept the soul crystals. You have the time and space treasure pagoda to help you cultivate your soul power. In that case we have nothing to worry about. Xianxia also kept the soul crystals. Yang Lei sat beside Yi Shang and said, Chuyu, a woman needs to find a good man. That way you won't have to worry. Indeed. It was the right choice to come to the eastern Xian region, Xianxia said. Night Sorrow smiled at the two women. He felt that he was very happy now. The two women were very considerate and understanding. After staying with the two women for a while, Night Sorrow returned to his room to cultivate. He had a clear cultivation direction. What he needed was time and accumulation. The two women chatted for a while and also went to cultivate. Yang Lei had some insights into the purple lightning attribute, so she planned to make a breakthrough in one go. Night Sorrow cultivated diligently every day. The Medicine Valley was also bustling with activity. It was mainly because they had done a good job of expanding the supply of elixirs. There were 7 superpowers in the eastern Xian region. However, the Scarlet Cloud sect only existed in name now. In fact, it had been banned by the eastern Xian city. The eastern Xian city did not have any businesses belonging to the Scarlet Cloud sect. Even the teleportation array that led to the Scarlet Cloud sect had been closed. The Scarlet Cloud sect could only lie on the ground and struggle at death's door. If they dared to make any moves, the eastern Xian city would directly destroy them. In addition to the Scarlet Cloud sect, the Medicine Valley had expanded its resources to the Holy Light sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, the Southern Dipper sect, and the Star Cloud sect. The business was doing very well. These 4 sects had their own alchemists, but the elixirs refined by them were not at the same level as those produced by the Medicine Valley. Therefore, the Medicine Valley's elixirs were particularly welcome. The cooperation between the two sides was a win-win situation. Coupled with the friendship between them, there was no problem at all. Seeing that the Medicine Valley was cooperating with the other 4 forces, the Walkabout sect, which originally did not have much interaction with the Medicine Valley, took the initiative to visit. They wanted to form a deep alliance with the Medicine Valley and invite the Medicine Valley to do the elixir business with the Walkabout sect. Of course, the Medicine Valley did not mind this situation because the Medicine Valley needed resources to develop. The current situation of the Medicine Valley made the Peak Masters very happy. Although the resources of the Medicine Valley's disciples had been reduced recently, this was only a turnaround period, which was only a few months' time. Everyone was very grateful to Night Sorrow because they all knew that this was related to Night Sorrow. If the Peak Masters were to communicate with each other, this matter would not be easy to handle because the major sects might reject them, and the problem of trust would be difficult to solve. The Danding Cliff was even more lively. After the 8-dragon cauldron was upgraded, the speed and quantity of the energy of heaven and earth had increased, which could be of great help to the disciples of the Medicine Valley. This also allowed the Medicine Valley to relax the threshold for the disciples to climb the cliff. The disciples of the Medicine Valley all knew that the 8-dragon cauldron belonged to Night Sorrow. Everyone appreciated this kindness. Later, Elder Su reported that he wanted to make a sculpture of Night Sorrow at the foot of the Danding Cliff. Chapter 595. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow's character statue was being carved at the foot of Pill Tripod Cliff. After the statue was completed, a change occurred, which was caused by the 8-dragon cauldron. The moment the statue was completed, the 8-dragon cauldron accelerated its rotation and directly sucked Night Sorrow's character statue up to a relatively large step above the 3,000-meter platform. It was also wrapped in energy. It could be said that Night Sorrow's character statue was protected by the 8-dragon cauldron. This incident caused a stir in the Medicine Valley. It also showed that Night Sorrow was recognized by the 8-dragon cauldron. Another incident also caused a small disturbance. That was when a disciple of the Medicine Valley was climbing Pill Tripod Cliff. He approached the statue and wanted to grab the statue to climb. In the end, he was directly blasted off Pill Tripod Cliff by the energy of the 8-dragon cauldron. If Elder Su didn't rescue him in time, he would have fallen to his death. This disciple's action made Elder Su very angry. Elder Su, who had dedicated his life to the Medicine Valley, would not allow anyone to blaspheme Night Sorrow, who had brought change to the Medicine Valley. The angry Elder Su directly deprived this disciple of his right to climb Pill Tripod Cliff. This disciple was a disciple of the Chu family in the Medicine Valley. He was Chu Ning's cousin. The disciple of the Chu family who felt that he had been treated unfairly was a little depressed. He went to Taishan Peak to complain to Chu Ning. Chu Ning and Tang Tian were practicing together. After hearing the disciple of the Chu family, Chu Ning directly slapped the disciple of the Chu family. Go back. You still don't know what you did wrong. Think it through first. Old Nine, calm down. Tang Tian said with a smile. How can I calm down? 13th uncle was fighting outside. Not only did he blaspheme, but he still doesn't know his mistake. If he told my uncle, I don't know how he would be beaten. I'm so angry. Chu Ning said angrily. The name Night Sorrow was empty in the eyes of some disciples of the Medicine Valley. They knew about his deeds, but they didn't know about Night Sorrow. But in the eyes of Chu Ning, Tang Tian and the rest, it was alive, and no one was allowed to blaspheme it. 13th Martial Uncle's life is very exciting. Qin Jin also went with him, but the two of us aren't strong enough. We'd better hurry up. If you don't have the strength to go, it'll be embarrassing, Tang Tian said. I really want to go, but I can't embarrass the Medicine Valley. Recently, I planned to go into seclusion and break through to the separating spirit stage. I don't believe that if I work hard, my cultivation won't improve and I can't keep up with the pace. Chu Ning gritted her teeth and said. The two of you are already doing very well. Don't pressure yourselves too much, Wu Qi said as he walked over. Disciples greet second martial uncle. Seeing Wu Qi, Tang Tian and Chu Ning both bowed. In the past few years, the Medicine Valley has taken in many disciples, but compared to your batch, those who came later are on a completely different level. The two of you, Ma Zhuang, Nangong Dai and Su Feng, are all very good. It's just that your 13th martial uncle is too dazzling so others can't see you, Wu Qi said as he sat down. But this gap is too big. Our 13th martial uncle is about to enter the venerable stage, and we haven't even entered the 4th stage. Isn't this killing us? Tang Tian said. Take it slow. Don't be impatient. One's temperament is also an important factor in one's success. If you have time, you can go to Dongshen City and see how your 9th martial uncle and 13th martial uncle are doing. After saying that, Wu Qi left. Wu Qi liked the batch of disciples who had joined the sect at the same time as Night Sorrow. Except for Night Sorrow, the other 12 people were very hard-working and had good results in their cultivation. The most important thing was their temperament. When Gong Xian went to Danding Peak to take up a post, Chu Ning and Tang Tian didn't go with him because they thought that they were from Taishan Peak. Night Sorrow cultivated peacefully, paying special attention to his soul power, refining the heavenly fate pearl. AI go shua 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 w. AI chuex. Soon when he came out of seclusion again, Night Sorrow saw Wu Lingfei in front of the courtyard. Seeing Night Sorrow, Wu Lingfei smiled and nodded, then handed the soul extinguishing / manual to Night Sorrow. Aunt Fei, how is the effect? Night Sorrow asked after taking the manual. Very good. But the attack power depends on how condensed the crescent blade is. Also the attribute. Even if Aunt Fei cultivates it, it won't be as good as yours. Wu Lingfei smiled. It's good that Aunt Fei can cultivate it. It's another trump card. Night Sorrow was very happy that Wu Lingfei could cultivate the soul extinguishing slash. Last time we talked I forgot something. This is for you. Wu Lingfei took out a jade box and handed it to Night Sorrow. Looking at the jade box, Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that it contained a fire attribute origin stone. How is your cultivation of the soul extinguishing slash? Wu Lingfei asked after Night Sorrow put away the origin stone. It's okay, but it hasn't been tested in battle yet. Night Sorrow said. Then try attacking Aunt Fei. Wu Lingfei stood up and said. That won't work. Soul attacks can cause problems. Night Sorrow was a little worried. He didn't want to hurt Wu Lingfei. Don't worry. Aunt Fei has a soul defense spell. Wu Lingfei nodded at Yishang and walked 3 to 4 meters away. She then turned around to face Yishang. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Lingfei and used the soul extinguishing slash. He urged the crescent blade to slash at Wu Lingfei's spirit sea. When the crescent blade came close to Wu Lingfei's head, it was blocked. Night Sorrow could feel that it was a wave-like soul power that was blocking the crescent blade's advance. The crescent blade was very sharp because of Night Sorrow's soul power. After cutting through the wave-like soul power, it continued to attack Wu Lingfei's head. Square root update Y soonest 6*89. The crescent blade had just entered Wu Lingfei's spirit sea when it was repelled by the turbulent soul power in her spirit sea. Very good. Very sharp. If you don't have a soul defense spell, it will be difficult to resist with just the soul power in your spirit sea. Wu Lingfei said. I can't even attack Aunt Fei's spirit sea. Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his forehead. If Aunt Fei doesn't use a soul defense spell to block it, the soul extinguishing slash will directly attack Aunt Fei's spirit sea. Although it will still be repelled by the soul power, it will still cause some damage to Aunt Fei's soul power. Your soul extinguishing slash has already surpassed the defensive power of Aunt Fei's soul defense spell. It is very sharp. Wu Lingfei said. I will continue to work hard in my cultivation, Yishang said. As your soul power increases, the soul extinguishing slash's offensive power and lethality will become stronger. Wu Lingfei said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the soul extinguishing slash was a soul battle skill that could kill saints. Night Sorrow had never thought of giving up. Also, after you enter the Exalt realm, Aunt Fei will teach you how to condense a soul avatar. It is still too early to teach you now. Wu Lingfei said after thinking for a moment. I know. There is no rush. Right now I should work hard to enter the Exalt realm. Night Sorrow nodded. Chapter 596. Genius 1 second remember love go / little? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. The Phantom Stone is the best medium for the cultivation of the soul avatar. You don't have any problems with this. The most regrettable thing is that you can't get the Desolate Stone to improve your power of Desolates. That is the real trump card. Wu Lingfei said with some regret. She was helpless because the Desolate Stone was too difficult to get. This is a matter of opportunity. Maybe it's because I don't have enough opportunity. Night Sorrow said with a smile. You shouldn't say that. It's not that you don't have enough opportunity. It's that the opportunity hasn't arrived yet. Wu Lingfei corrected Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. He felt that it was better to let nature take its course. After chatting with Night Sorrow for a while, Wu Lingfei returned to the observation tower to continue cultivating. Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash was equivalent to giving her a trump card. There were too few soul secret skills. Even if there were, they were defensive. Currently, the only high-level cultivator who was good at soul attacks was Bei Tiangu. This showed how precious soul secret skills were. In addition, Wu Lingfei didn't tell Night Sorrow that Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash was more promising than hers. This was mainly because of Night Sorrow's tyrannical attribute. Night Sorrow's main attribute was the void attribute. His true chi was also of the void attribute. His soul extinguishing slash was also of the void attribute. Although Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash didn't hurt her, it still had a strong corrosive effect on her soul extinguishing slash. After Wu Lingfei left, Night Sorrow played with Xianyu and Silver Fox in the courtyard to cultivate their relationship. This was directly related to Xianyu and Silver Fox's growth and fighting strength. If they had a good relationship with Night Sorrow, it would be much easier for them to fight together in the future. Xianyu also took Silver Fox out to hunt every day. In the eastern Shen region, almost all the venerables knew Xianyu and wouldn't attack Xianyu. Cultivators below the venerable realm wouldn't be able to attack Tianyu either. Not to mention anything else, just based on Tianyu's speed, cultivators below venerable ones could only drink the wind. Under Night Sorrow's teachings, Tianyu would not attack humans and would only hunt demonic beasts. After playing with the two beasts for a while, Night Sorrow went over to the god-slaying team to check on the situation. He asked around and was relieved to know that everything was going smoothly. Night Sorrow practiced his spear arts for a while before returning to the secret cultivation room to practice his basics. Baidu search AI go female sign xiao say www.ichuxs.com. The situation looked very stable, but in fact, it was just the calm before the storm. Original HWU Tianji Tower had already mobilized people to the Taiqing region and was ready to go to war with the Tianfeng dynasty. The Tianfeng dynasty was very arrogant. Even though they knew that Tianji Tower was dissatisfied, they were still very arrogant and even continued to attack the members of Tianji Tower who were doing missions. In addition, the Jiyu family kept a low profile. This war was too big of a blow to them. It could be said that they had suffered a great loss. The foundation of the Jiyu family, Ji Royal City and their ancestral land, had been completely destroyed. It could be said that no matter how much time passed, they would never be able to recover to their previous state. A family like the Jiyu family that started from war and made money from war suffered a terrible defeat. Not only did they lose face, but they also lost a large number of resources and experts. They also lost a lot of luck. Jiyu Haitian, who had been severely injured by Wu Lingfei, originally planned to return to Ji Royal City to recuperate. However, when he arrived at Ji Royal City and the ancestral land of the Jiyu family, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood when he saw the ruins of the ancestral land. After finding the senior disciples sent by the Jiyu family to rebuild Ji Royal City and asking about the war situation, Jiyu Haitian returned to Sky-bearing City. The Jiyu family's influence and strength in Sky-bearing City had been severely damaged, and the other families had benefited. The Sikong family and the Yang family of Yunwu Mountain had also entered Sky-bearing City and taken over some of the properties that the Jiyu family didn't have the energy to manage. In the Jiyu family's mansion, Jiyu Haitian saw the dispirited Jiyu Fenglan. Then Jiyu Haitian asked Jiyu Fenglan to gather the higher-ups of the Ji family. "Grand Elder, what's your situation now?" Jiyu Fenglan looked at Jiyu Haitian and asked. At this moment, Jiyu Haitian was in a very sorry state. Not only was he missing an arm, but he was also in a very bad state. Eastern Xin region and Tianji Tower have at least 3 saints and 1 half-step saint. I was very lucky to be able to escape from their encirclement, Jiyu Haitian said with a sigh. How can there be so many saints? Also, according to what the saint from Qingtian region said, Tianji Tower seems to have more experts, Jiyu Fenglan said. Don't clash with Tianji Tower and Eastern Xin region for now. Let's stabilize the situation first. We can't afford to fight at the moment. Jiyu Haitian was scared by Wu Lingfei this time. He knew that he was no match for Wu Lingfei even in a one-on-one battle. However, if he wanted to run, it would be very difficult for Wu Lingfei to kill him. The Sikong family, Yunwu Mountain, and other big families are eating up our destroyed properties. They have already taken over more than half of our destroyed properties. Jiyu Fenglan's expression was very ugly. Although he was still the city lord of Qingtian City, he was only in name now. Hurry up and take back as much as you can. Our properties are very important. It's related to whether our Jiyu family can recover or not. Jiyu Haitian's expression was very ugly. This situation made the Jiyu family even worse. Grand Elder, can you kill the venerables of the Sikong family? If you kill their venerables, they will have to spit out our territories. Jiyu Xuanhuan looked at Jiyu Haitian and said. He knew that a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Although Jiyu Haitian was severely injured, as long as he took action, the Sikong family would suffer a serious blow. This method won't work. Didn't the saint who stopped the realm war say that saints can't participate in the realm war? If I go to seize their territories and kill the Sikong family's people, it will cause some trouble, Jiyu Haitian said. The other members of the Jiyu family nodded as well. This was very risky. If we attack too hard and force the Sikong family into a corner, the Sikong family will form an alliance with the Heaven's End Tower, or join forces with other forces to attack our subordinate forces. That will be a big problem, said Jiyu Haitian. Endure. Recover first. As long as we recover our strength, we can still take back our properties. The Sikong family has no saints, this is their weakness, Jiyu Fenglan said. That's it for now. We have to endure. Fenglan, help me gather some treasures that can increase my vitality. My origin is injured and my meridians are frozen. I need treasures that can replenish my vitality and blood qi, Jiyu Haitian said to Jiyu Fenglan. Chapter 597. Genius 1 second remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. If I want to regrow my severed limbs, I need treasures that can replenish blood and vitality. If it's these two things I must get them. Love, gon little say, web. Chu find out what the mission is and send people to do it with all their might, Jiyu Haitian said and then left. He was seriously injured and had to heal as soon as possible. After Jiyu Haitian left, Jiyu Fenglan looked at the higher-ups of the family and said, try your best to recover the territory and foundation first. Also, send people to see what the mission of Tianji Tower is about. We must complete the mission at all costs. The Grand Elder must recover. Yes. The members of the Jiyu family bowed and accepted the order. They were all smart people and knew what Jiyu Haitian meant to the Jiyu family. Without Jiyu Haitian, the Jiyu family would fade out of the history of the Qingtian territory when Jiyu Fenglan's foundation was destroyed. The Jiyu family acted quickly, but they had lost more than half of their foundation. The Xikong family and Yungwu Mountain didn't hold back. A few days ago the Jiyu family wanted to attack the Xikong family. The Xikong family and many people in the Qingtian territory knew about it. When the Xikong family was fighting for the territory, they spread the news that the Jiyu family had set fire to their own stronghold in order to attack the Xikong family. This kind of public opinion was unfavorable to the Jiyu family, and it made the Xikong family's counterattack reasonable. Before the battle, Xikong Tianding had communicated with Lin Yuandao. From Lin Yuandao, Xikong Tianding knew that Xikong family had made a move. Jiyu family could not start a war and could only endure. The saints were now just decorations. Xikong Tianding and Tianji Tower also reached an agreement. If the Jiyu family sent out the saints, the Tianji Tower would be responsible for it, and the Xikong family would be willing to give up 30% of their foundation. After reaching an agreement, Xikong Tianding arranged for the Xikong family to take action. He was not a reckless person and took every step steadily. Every day Night Sorrow would cultivate peacefully. When he was free he would chat with the two girls and check on the progress of the members of the god-slaying squad. Other than that, he would play with Tianyu and Silver Fox for a while. One night Sorrow had just returned from the god-slaying squad when he ran into Ning Qingfeng. He was there to report that a disciple of the Medicine Valley had come to see him. Hearing that he was a disciple of the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow went straight to the gatehouse. Seeing who it was, Night Sorrow was very happy. It was the disciples of the Medicine Valley, Nangong Dai, Ningqing, Qiujing, Sufeng, Qingjiang, Shenrong, Mazhuang, Chuning and Tang Tian. Love Gon Little Seika, other than the two who are in closed-door cultivation, all the junior brothers who joined the sect with 13th uncle are here, Tang Tian said. It's been a long time since we last met. Since you're in Dongxian City, I'll entertain you, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I knew it. 13th uncle is still the same old 13th uncle. You're still a little afraid. I wonder what you're afraid of. Tang Tian said with a smile. Let's go in and have some tea first. We'll set up a banquet at noon. Night Sorrow nodded to the crowd. Knowing that a group of people had come, Jiang Ziming also ran over. Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu also came to greet the group. Night Sorrow asked Aunt Feng to arrange the guest rooms for everyone to stay. 13th uncle, can you take me with you when you fight in the future? Chuning asked. Me too, Tang Tian said. It's not fun to fight outside. You're all the future elites of the Medicine Valley. You can't be lost, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow didn't want to refuse, but in fact he really couldn't take them with him. The three people with the highest cultivation were at the peak of the core formation realm, but Night Sorrow and the others' opponents were all above the 5th stage. We're not afraid. When Chuning and I came this time we already asked Master. Our Master said that the two of us can go out and explore, Tang Tian said. No, we can't take you with us, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. It's not us, it's senior brother Tang and I. Of course they can't. They're all the treasures in the hands of our uncle masters, Chuning said with a smile. Chuning, you're not kind. Nangong Dai pointed at Chuning and scolded. 13th uncle, don't be in a hurry to refuse. Give Chuning and me a chance. If it doesn't work, we'll be driven back. Tang Tian bowed deeply to Night Sorrow. Then the two of you can stay for a while. We'll see what happens. Night Sorrow said helplessly. First in, those two bastards actually ran ahead of me. 13th Martial Uncle, I've already told Master. This is the letter he wrote for you. Maya Zhuang took a step forward, took out a letter, and handed it to Yi Shang. Okay, you guys go and stay first. We'll wait for your 13th uncle to make a decision, Yang Lei said with a wave of her hand. After arranging for the group to stay, Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu returned to the bamboo house in the backyard. After reading Wu Qi's letter, Night Sorrow shook his head. Wu Qi said in the letter that Ma Shizhuang wanted to go out and explore. If it was convenient for Night Sorrow, he should take him in. Since eldest senior brother and second senior brother said so, how can I refuse? But these three guys' cultivation is a bit low. This is a problem. Night Sorrow felt a headache coming because he couldn't refuse. It's fine. If they want to stay, they can stay. When there's a mission, they can be arranged appropriately, Yang Lei said. That's the only way. What else can I do? However, the three of them are not bad. They will be able to enter the 4th rank very soon. Once they enter the 4th rank, it'll be easy. With enough resources, their cultivation will increase sooner or later, Night Sorrow said. Zimming is a bit lacking. Also, Zimming's killing intent and bloodthirst are not enough. He has a calm personality and is a good candidate to inherit senior sister's line, Yang Lei said. Yang Lei knew that as long as she asked, Night Sorrow wouldn't refuse. However, she also knew that Jiang Zimming was not suitable. In terms of personality, Jiang Zimming was not the same type as Chu Ning, Tang Tian, and Ma Shizhuang. Everyone's temperament is different. It's impossible for them to walk the same path. Night Sorrow nodded. At noon, Night Sorrow held a banquet and called Jiang Zimming over. After drinking a few bowls of wine, Night Sorrow stood up and said, Tang Tian, Chu Ning, and Ma Shizhuang, I'll keep the three of you. However, don't think too much about it. Personality, temperament, and other factors determine everyone's path. Some people like to let nature take its course. This is the Tao of inaction. Some people like to go with the flow. This is the Tao of inaction. 13th Martial Uncle, we understand. 13th Martial Uncle and the others have been fighting outside. Your deeds have made people's blood boil. However, I've thought about it. This is not what I want. I just want to cultivate quietly, Nangong Dai said. That's right. Liking is the most important thing. Although I won't keep you, I'll always welcome you to come and play whenever you want, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Thank you, 13th Martial Uncle. Everyone stood up and bowed to Night Sorrow.